44 games down, who knows how many to go. The magic number is 6 wins away from a championship for the Orleans Firebirds. It would be their first since 2005, but you know what? Let's not put the cart in front of a horse. It's the first round of the playoffs, and it's here from Eldredge tonight. The Harwich Mariners are in town. Hello, everybody. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore here on the Scorching Start, right here on the Birds Broadcast Network. And Dylan, it was an up-and-down regular season, but a really good finish. An Orleans team that's the second seed headed into the playoffs in the East Division.
Ian, they were one game away from the first seed, but I don't think they're really sad about that. They faced off with a Harwich team that they played really well against later in the season. They lost the first four matchups against these Mariners, but then the last two dominant wins for the Firebirds, including just a few days ago in a 2-1 walk-off win for the Firebirds. They move on to today. New season, everyone 0-0. It's who can get to 2 wins first.
Orleans, its first win of the year against Harwich came when they had their ace on the mound, Princeton's Tom Chmielewski. He's on the mound again tonight. But, Dylan, it's been a tale of 2 seasons for him. His first 4 starts were very good. His last 2, including that start against Orleans, he's kind of been hit around a little bit.
The Firebirds started that streak, Ian, where they put 9 runs on Chmielewski in just 3 innings. It was all about hitting the baseball. It wasn't walks, it wasn't strikeouts. It was all about base hits, doubles, singles. Not any home runs for the Firebirds in that 3-inning stretch as well. They hit him around. They had the scouting report. Eddie Micheletti had a few hits off him. Justin Rubin had a hit off him. Oyama did as well. An offensive explosion that night that almost had some history in it, too.
Almost did. Orleans had a no-hitter going into the 9th inning. Orleans has been hitting the ball well as of late, and they're trying to prevent Harwich from scoring a lot of runs tonight in the first round of the playoffs. In order to do so, Grayson Carter, making his 3rd start of the summer, he's going to need to dominate.
He does, and I think his season really took off in Game 2 against Chatham right here at Eldredge Park. He brought a lot of energy to the team, who just lost Game 1 of that doubleheader and pitched 3 1/3, striking out 7. Dominant on the mound. He's not going to give you 6-7 on most likely days, but he's going to give you a strong 3 to 4 innings to start off the game for the Firebirds, bring that heat that he has out of his right arm, and also hopefully limit the walks. That's the key tonight for Grayson Carter.
Did walk 4 batters in that big win against Chatham, but the 6 strikeouts, the number that really pops with the Vandy right-handed pitcher. Someone who's been popping late from the plate, Eddie King Jr. He has been the backbone of his offense over the final couple weeks. He's looked like a completely different player than he was in the month of June.
Completely different. In June and July, 2 different seasons for Eddie King Jr., and he's really cemented his place in center field for the Firebirds. We could have sat here on July 1st and said, who's going to play the outfield for the Firebirds? Jake Casey was there, Fenwick Trimble as well, and there's still options 100%. Eddie King has taken off since July 1st and really cemented his spot in center field. He starts there for good reason. Ever since July started, he's hitting just under 400.
That's unreal. I took a breath because I can't believe you just put that number out into the air, but it's a fact. And it's a fact that he's starting his 10th game in a row in center field tonight for the Firebirds. The 3rd member of our crew, Sammy Miller, talks about how the season ended for Orleans, a loss to Chatham, but how it actually could have helped.
The perfect storybook ending for the Firebirds would have been to win on Wednesday and clinch the #1 spot in the East. But life isn't always like the storybooks, and the Firebirds, they're used to that. They've gone through their fair share of ups and downs this season, starting out the year going 2-6, but look at them now. They never gave up hope, and now they're the #2 seed in the East, and playoffs are being hosted tonight at Eldredge Park, and I haven't seen them this fired up in a very long time. So maybe that Wednesday loss was just what they needed to have that extra little bit of fire under them to get it done. Because after all, they've been doubted time and time again this year, but they don't care about the outside noise. Instead, they want to make sure that this is not where the story ends. Yes, they got into playoffs. Yes, that's great. But for them, it means so much more to make a playoff run. They want to pick up that pen and be the writers to their own story. After all, their phrase for the playoffs is, "We didn't come this far to come this far." Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. What an almost unbelievable comeback from Orleans in the season-ending loss to Chatham, but maybe it's the wake-up call this Firebirds team needed to get right for the playoffs. Somebody who's been right, at least from a personality standpoint, how could you not love him? Owen Carpellotti, the catcher from Georgetown. He's going to join us on the Scorching Start. He joins Dylan right now.
Thank you, Ian. Dylan Pescatore and Owen Carpellotti, catcher for the Firebirds, before Game 1 of Round 1 of the playoffs. Firebirds taking on the Harwich Mariners. Owen, you were here since day 1 with the Firebirds. How does it feel, 44 games down and playoffs to go?
I think it's a great feeling. I mean, I'm not the only guy from day 1 here, and I think that's one of the reasons we've been so successful. We just built chemistry from the start. And then I think we have 6 or 7 total guys that were here for the first practice a couple days before the season started. And when you got guys that click easy and have been doing it for that long, it's easy to play.
Now you have a playoff series coming up against Harwich. They took it to you the first 4 games. They beat you pretty good. The last 2 you've had their number. How do you feel like looking into this team?
It's going to be a good series, I can tell you that much. I mean, they're a very good team, like you said. They kind of pounded our teeth in the first couple games. We made some adjustments in the middle of the season and lost a couple close ones, and then we were able to squeak out 2 at the end. So the momentum's on our side. I think, we're the higher seed. We've been playing well, but we definitely can't look past them. Like you said, we've lost a couple to them already, so it by no means is it an easy series for us.
The offense has really come to play in the last 7 games, scoring 10 runs 5 of those 7 games. What has been the secret to this offense that has really gotten going in the second half of the season?
Just playing for each other. I mean, Max Fesky's been leading us the whole time. He's been doing a great job. Just taking team at-bats. He says the first 2 are for you, but the third one's for the team. We're big on not striking out, putting the ball in play, because when that happens, good things happen. And clearly for us, good things have been happening. We've been putting the ball in play and reaping the benefits of it. I mean, it's been working for us, and that's what we're going to try to keep doing.
You have a few summer ball champions on this team. Eddie Micheletti in the Appalachian League. Justin Rubin won as well. Now, you've played summer ball before, but what does this team specifically mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, this is the longest I've played summer ball. Last summer, I was only in the Appy League for 2.5, 3 weeks, something like that. So I got to know those guys pretty well, but it's nothing compared to what I know these guys now like. It's just a good group of guys, and winning is something that should happen to good guys and good teams, and that's what we are. So, we've had our fair share of it so far this season, but we're not ready to be done yet.
Everyone's 0-0 starting in the playoffs. 6 wins to go before the Firebirds even think of winning a championship. As you go through this next week of playoffs, playing the best of the best, you're facing their ace every single night. What's the secret for you guys? What do you guys have to do well in the playoffs?
I don't think it's any different than a regular season game. I mean, once you lose one, you lose the next one. Then your season's over. But I don't think that's going to happen to us. I think we're going to win game 1. But when we face everybody's best, we faced this team 6 times, right? So a lot of the guys that they're going to pitch, we've probably seen before. We know what to expect, and then once we have those, it's just up to us to control what we can control, and then the game will take care of itself.
Control what we can control. Owen Carpellotti, from day one, hoping for a week to go with the Firebirds. Back to you, Ian. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're clipping that if we lose game 1, by the way, and then we're going to send it around.
Dylan, what was the phrase Owen used at the start of the summer? He wants to bring the fireworks to Eldredge. Maybe he could bring some fireworks tonight, and Orleans can make a championship run for the first time since 2005. These are 2 franchises that haven't won a Cape Cod Baseball League championship in over a decade, that haven't even seen each other in the playoffs for over a decade. But tonight, some history is going to be made. Orleans and Harwich, first round of the playoffs, game 1, right here. Scorching start over, first pitch very soon. Stay with us. For the first time in a decade, the Orleans Firebirds square off with the Harwich Mariners in the playoffs. Tonight is the night for Orleans to make potentially its first championship run and win a championship for the first time in 18 years. Welcome you behind home plate here from Eldredge Park. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call tonight on the Birds Broadcast Network. And Dylan, for Game 1, manager Kelly Nicholson is trotting out somebody who throws a lot of heat. In fact, the most heat in the entirety of the Cape Cod Baseball League in Vanderbilt's right-handed pitcher, Grayson Carter.
And who else, Ian? If you want a lot of energy, if you want a lot of motivation on the mound, you're going to send out Grayson Carter, who brings that to the mound. He's going to show off his stuff. It's 60 to 70% fastball from Carter, clocking in right around 98, 99, at times touching triple digits. And if the Firebirds can get 4 innings from him, they can set up the recipe of cooking up what they have in that bullpen, which has been really good over the past 2 games.
The bullpen has been really good. It's a pitching staff with the second lowest ERA on the summer, and the pitching staff's been really good in the last 2 games against Harwich. Only 1 combined run for the Mariners in the last 2 games against Orleans, and the last game against Orleans, Dylan, was a classic.
It was a 2-1 game, 1-1 through the 9th inning. Ali Camarillo for Harwich scored the run. The Firebirds got a run from Jack Penny on an RBI single, and then they went to the 9th inning, and it was another one of those classic games from the Firebirds. They continued to fight into the 9th. Eddie King Jr. with a double down the left field line, a few defensive miscues from Harwich, and it was bases loaded. And then the walk-off for Orleans as they found a way to win 2-1. Jake Casey with the RBI single. Everyone 1 through 9 down this order has made an impact on this season, and now it's time to make an impact in the biggest games of the year.
It's the biggest game of the year for Orleans. We head back to the field, bring it through the national anthem. We'll be right back for first pitch between the Mariners and Firebirds in just a moment on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the
Is Amelia over there? Does she have... Okay, good. Oh, cool. Yeah.
Ready for first pitch in this first-round playoff game between Orleans and Harwich. And Dylan throwing out the first pitch. Grayson Carter, just talked about him a few moments ago. His last appearance a week ago today against Chatham went 4 2/3 and probably his best outing of the summer.
He was really, really good. A lot of strikeouts, 6 strikeouts in those 3 1/3 innings pitched against Chatham. Hasn't pitched in a little bit. Hasn't pitched in over almost 2 weeks for Carter, but that gives his arm a little bit of rest. A perfect ERA on the summer, 14 strikeouts in 14 1/3 innings pitched. What's his key tonight, Ian? Limit the walks, limit the base runners, continue to force your stuff down Harwich's lineup, and make them put the ball in play. Trust your defense behind you.
Carter only walked one batter in nearly 5 innings a week ago today against Chatham. Let's look at the lineup he'll face tonight for Harwich, an offense that has scored the second fewest runs in the league, but has 3 other day one guys in Ali Camarillo, Brian Arndt, and Devin Obie.
They do, and those guys have been here for a good amount of time. A lot of this Harwich lineup hasn't been here for a lot of time. Camarillo starts it off. Kevin Keister in that 2 spot. Ethan Anderson bats third. Obie, Arndt, Lambros, Leary, LeCroy, and Rivera, the starting 9 for Harwich against Grayson Carter. The best time of the year, and now we're ready to go.
2 teams that didn't make it out of the first round of the East Division playoff a year ago. 2 squads in search of their first Cape Cod Baseball League championships in over a decade. Orleans made the championship in 2013, hasn't won the title since 2005. Harwich, under manager Steve Englert, has won 2 Cape Cod Baseball League championships since the 21st century, 2008 and 2011. If they want to get back, they got to get through each other in the first round. Carter's first pitch misses outside to Ali Camarillo, who on Monday hit the lone run of the game for Harwich, a solo shot in 7 hits, the only one that made an impact. Weak grounder over to Jack Penny. He throws it to first for the first out of the game. Penny, one of the 9 defensively for Orleans. How about we go through the rest of their defensive alignment? It starts with Henry Hunter behind the dish. Matt Holback and Joe Oyama, the all-star duo on the right side of the infield. Brandon Stallman and another all-star, Jack Penny, on the left side of the infield. Eddie Micheletti Jr., Eddie King Jr., and Colin Tuft make up the outfield for the Firebirds. The second man up is Kevin Keister. There's the first pitch strike, Dylan. A good start for Grayson Carter.
A big start for Carter as he has to throw strikes. He has to continue to keep the ball in the zone just like that. Continue to fire strikes. Do not fall behind. That's when Harwich and opposing batters can start to get a read on Carter.
Kevin Keister just finished up a very productive sophomore season with Maryland, but pops up the third pitch he sees from Carter in the shallow right field. Backing up and making the catch is Colin Tuft. 2 quick outs recorded from Vanderbilt's right-handed pitcher. Hasn't given up an earned run this summer. Start of the year out of a bullpen for Orleans. Has moved into the starting rotation as of late in cruise control early on.
He looks good. He's throwing strikes, continuing to put the ball in the strike zone. And that's what he has to do. The walks are what has hurt Carter this summer.
Misses low, 1-0. You talk about handing out free passes during his sophomore season at Vanderbilt. 28 walks, 23 strikeouts. 5 more strikeouts than walks this summer here in Orleans. The 1-0 to Anderson misses outside. Just finished up his sophomore season at Virginia, where he was an all-ACC performer at first base. Helped UVA make it back to the College World Series for the 6th time since 2009. Swing and a miss, 2-1. A couple of his former Virginia teammates in the lineup tonight, and I say former because Justin Rubin, DHing for Orleans, transferring to Pepperdine for his junior season, and Colin Tuft, who just secured the putout in right field, a former UVA Cav. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Carter a strike away from going 1-2-3 here in the top of the first.
We all know Grayson Carter's fastball, but those last 2 pitches, changeup and then a slider, those 2 are key. You have to keep Harwich's batters on their toes.
Their secondary offering set up by a fastball that touches triple digits. Swing and a miss. Grayson Carter, what a start in his first playoff start since high school. He doesn't look phased. It keeps it scoreless as we go to the bottom of the first on the Birds Broadcast Network.
The Firebirds organization will be making a contribution in John's honor to the Lower Cape Outreach Council for every Firebirds home run hit at Eldredge Park. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Eldredge Park. This is a very important safety announcement. No matter how tempting it is, do not cross Route 28 for foul balls. This is a busy state highway, it's private property on the other side of the road, and the drivers are paying more attention to the gate, lights, and scoreboard than if there's somebody in front of them in the road.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the first inning, Grayson Carter goes 1-2-3 for Orleans in the top of the frame, and Dylan starting for his second time in 5 days against Orleans. Blake Purnell, the rising junior from Florida.
Yes, a sidewinder as well, a sinker-slider mix on Purnell. Supposedly, the starting pitcher for Harwich as of last night was Tom Chmielewski, the lefty out of Princeton. Harwich changed their mind today, behind the scenes at least. Blake Purnell, the righty on the mound. Last pitched against these Firebirds just 5 days ago. Only went 1 inning, allowed a run that was earned on 1 hit and 1 strikeout. He's been really good this summer for the Mariners as well. A second-year Mariner, under 1 ERA in 9 innings.
It did not give up an earned run before that start against Orleans on Monday, which, like you said, only went 1 inning. How about we look at the lineup for Orleans tonight? Not much has changed for a group that has 6 players in the lineup who have been with the team since the first week of the season. Joe Oyama, the all-star, leads off. Justin Rubin playing for his second time in the last 8 games. He bats second. Jack Penny and Matt Hallback, a couple of all-stars who round out the top of the order, which finishes with Eddie Micheletti Jr., Eddie King Jr., Brandon Stallman, Henry Hunter, and Colin Tuft. Joe Oyama, the mainstay of this Orleans order, making his 36th start in his last 37 games. He leads off for Orleans once again. Finished the Cape Cod Baseball League regular season 5th in batting average and tied for 8th in games played. The rising senior from UC Irvine out in California. I mentioned towards the tail end of the top of the inning, Grayson Carter tonight making his first postseason start since high school, back at Fairview High in Colorado. Meanwhile, Blake Purnell, last time he pitched in the postseason, was in the College World Series final. He gets the swing and miss from Oyama, 1-1. Purnell, a Florida Gator. The Gators unfortunately came up short to the LSU Tigers in late June, and Purnell pitched in both games 2 and 3 against LSU. The 1-1 misses outside 2-1.
I mean, what else can you say about Joe Oyama, what he has brought to this team? He leads the Cape Cod Baseball League in OPS in the regular season, over 1,000, 1.069. Every stat that he puts up is incredible. He's brought so much from each side of the ball.
Grounds one towards first, and it pops right out of a glove of Anderson. An on-base machine. That's why he leads the league in OPS, and he reaches first safely. It goes down as an error. Not how you want to start this game if you're Harwich, and E3 on Anderson.
What wins in playoffs is really good defense, and that's a play that Anderson would say himself that he has to make. It gives the Firebirds another life.
Justin Rubin, who played in only 2 of the final 8 games of the regular season for Orleans, but when he's in the lineup, he makes an impact. Comes to the plate. Anderson's former teammate at Virginia, transferring to Pepperdine in the spring, originally from Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. You know, Bryn Mawr, it stands for the Big Hill. And the Big Hill tonight from Eldredge, absolutely packed. A crowd well above 3,000 people to watch Orleans back in the playoffs.
And why wouldn't they be here? A gorgeous night, Friday night in August. You get to see some playoff baseball, and a lot of people here wearing some Firebirds apparel hoping for an Orleans win.
That pitch taken low and in for ball 2. Somebody knows playoff baseball pretty well in terms of success in summer. Justin Rubin. Spent last year with the Bristol State Liners of the Appalachian League, but the year before that played for the Vermont Lake Monsters of the Futures League. That team won over 40 games, the winningest season in Futures League history, and won a championship. Strike called high in the zone from home plate umpire Chris Engstrand to even the count.
That was a big pitch from 2-1 to 2-2, rather 2-1 to 3-1 if it went down as a ball.
Purnell checks in on Oyama. 6 for 10 on stolen base attempts this year. Ruben, somebody who knows the strike zone well. Someone else who's been an on-base machine. Reaching in 16 of 17 games played with Orleans, joined the team in early July. Pops this pitch up. It's blooping in the shallow right field and caught. Snagged by Elijah Lambros out of Maryland for the first out of the inning.
Ruben, who went inside out there to right field. Lambros got a good beat on it and caught it. Another good piece of contact, but Purnell's arm angle can give a lot of righty hitters some problems with how sometimes they can't see it out of his hand.
Jack Penny to the plate. The All-Star making his 10th straight start at shortstop after being named an All-Star starter at third base in the middle of July. You know, Dylan, Purnell didn't have a great sophomore season at Florida. He pitched 20 innings, had a 9 ERA. As a freshman, a sub-3 ERA in 50 innings pitched, but there's a lot to like. He's got a lot of big talent for the Gators.
100% he does, Ian. And what does he offer? He offers a sidewinding ability that I mentioned before, but he is a ground ball machine. If you're going to bring him in, you're looking for a ground ball with his slider that goes outside to lefties and then his slider that goes inside to lefties. That's his type of MO when you're talking about pitch repertoire for Blake Purnell. He's going to keep everything on the ground. So if you see the Firebirds get the ball in the air, that's a good sign.
Jack Penny's been putting the ball in the air a lot lately. Hits in 9 of his last 10 games for the Notre Dame standout. He's driven in 7 runs in those last 10 games. Oyama takes off for second. The throw from Aaron gets him in time. It bounced in front of second base, but the tag from Ali Camarillo is in time for the second out of the inning. Oyama caught stealing for the 5th time this summer. How about we take a look at the rest of the defensive alignment for Harwich? Bryant Arndt behind the dish, the All-Star from UNC Wilmington. Ethan Anderson at first, Daniel Rivera at second, Kevin Keister at third, Camarillo at short, Leary, Obi, and Lambros make up the outfield. Penny takes a pitch inside for a ball. Ball 4. Jack Penny, somebody who's no stranger to taking a free bag. His 25th walk on the season. That ties him with Joe Oyama for the second most in the league.
A great walk by Penny, and that's why the caught stealing hurts so much, because you could have been set up with first and second with 1 out, but you move past that. Another runner on for Orleans, which means more pressure on Purnell.
Matt Hall back to the plate, who fouls back the first pitch. Purnell only pitched 1 inning on Monday against Orleans, gave up an earned run. Hallback, somebody who's not going to make the final out of the inning easy for him. Had 7 hits in his last 2 games of a regular season. Reached all 5 times on Wednesday in a heartbreaking loss to Chatham. Dylan, it was a loss to end the regular season for Orleans, but it was a gutsy one at that. Trailed by 10 runs going into the bottom of a 6th and only lost by 2.
They came back and almost finished the comeback, the Firebirds did. That's a point of a really good team. They're going to come back no matter how much they're down.
Matt Hallback is hit in the helmet. But he seems to be okay. Obviously shaken up. That's going to be a free base for Matt Hallback. And Jack Penny's going to move to second. He's been a warrior this year for Orleans, as he's going to be checked in by both Kelly Nicholson and the athletic training staff. That's the 10th time he's been hit by a pitch this summer. And not the first time he's been plunked in the head, but he smiles and takes his free base.
Always a scary sight. You never want to see something like that happen. And Purnell clearly just lost track of where he was going to throw that sinker. Came up and in on the tall Hallback, who stands at 6'3". But another base runner for Orleans. They have to continue getting base runners, continue to put traffic on the base paths.
That pitch clocking in at 81 miles an hour. As you mentioned, the off-speed offering that just gets away from Purnell. Back-to-back free passes from the Florida Gator. A 2-out walk for Penny. And Hallback plunked. Here's Eddie Micheletti at the plate. Speak about somebody who's been no stranger to driving in runs as of late. 3 RBIs in each of his last 2 games. Top 10 in the league in runs driven in. Purnell's 1-0. In for a strike.
Purnell has not found his groove yet, I'd say. 1 walk in 9 innings before this start. Already a walk and a hit by pitch here tonight.
He's throwing more balls than strikes, although he gets ahead in the count against Micheletti here. 19 pitches for Purnell, the former freshman All-American at UF, here in his 2nd season with Harwich. Chopped foul once more. Micheletti, Dylan, always going to be a tough out.
I was just thinking when you said he got ahead of Micheletti. He can get ahead of Micheletti, but to put him away, it's a whole different story, right? 1-2, 2-2. He's going to continue to battle you and make him throw a pitch into his zone, and he'll most likely put good wood on it.
2 runners on, 2 out. Purnell doesn't get the call. Misses high, and now the count even. More walks than strikeouts for the Delaware native Micheletti during his junior season at George Washington. A strikeout rate well below 10%. The 2-2. Foul the other way.
Continues to battle, Micheletti does. When he's really going, he's going to hit it between Camarillo and Keister, between short and third base. If he can find a way to get one through that big hole, Penny's going to be coming around to score.
He's really at his best when playing Harwich. In 5 games against the Mariners, he's driven in 5 runs. And he'll stay alive as he fouls away another 2-2 pitch.
And this means so much, Ian. You look at today, just game 1. This is a 3-game best-of-3 series. If you can continue to work the starting pitches pitch count, there's only so many arms in there that Steve Englert, the manager, trusts. Continue to work their starting pitchers pitch count. Hopefully he makes a mistake.
Orleans for 2 seed, Harwich for 3. Line drive, right field, and diving. It's caught. What a big-time play from Elijah Lambros. And Orleans leaves 2 stranded in the bottom of the first. 83 miles an hour off the bat, driven a right from Micheletti. Not to be, according to the Maryland Terrapin. Hallback and Penny stranded. It stays scoreless after 1. We'll come back in the top of the 2nd on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Except for playoff shirts are 20% off. Go on down to that those red tents, 20% off on all Firebirds and Cape League merchandise except for the playoff shirts. Come on down, get some great merchandise. And fans, make sure they participate in tonight's 50-50 raffle. You can buy tickets at the table behind the home dugout or see Tom, Bonnie, or Lisa, who'll be coming around through the crowd. Tickets are 1 for $1, 5 for $2, 20 for $5, for 60 for $10. On Wednesday night, we gave away $1,400. So buy early, buy often. It's a big crowd tonight. We should give away a big sum of money tonight.
Back to the Birds Broadcast Network in the top of the 2nd. Scoreless frames thrown by both Grayson Carter and Blake Purnell in the first, but Dylan Carter worked with much more efficiency in that first inning. He now faces Devin Obie, the 4th man of this order.
Yeah, no base runners for Carter. 3 base runners allowed for Purnell.
Carter went 1-2-3. Ground out, fly out, and then a strikeout of Ethan Anderson to end the frame. Now he faces one of the best in this order of a Duke Blue Devil, Obie, who evens the count 1-1. One of 3 All-Stars in this order for 20th year manager Steve Englert, alongside the leadoff man Ali Camarillo and the man in the on-deck circle, and Brian Arndt. Fastball upstairs, 2-1. Obie hitting .250 on the summer. Check swing. Got the knob of the bat, foul ball, 2-2.
Carter's throwing the heat. He continues to throw the fastball for a strike. And that's key, because when you get to these 2-strike counts, it puts the idea in the batter's mind. He could throw to the fastball, or maybe even the slider or the changeup.
Goes with the fastball, gets the strikeout. Obi goes down looking, and that's back-to-back punch-outs for Carter. That fastball has been untouchable this summer.
And in the perfect spot at the bottom of the zone, gets the called strike 3. Carter looks really good. He looks composed out there and continues to throw strikes.
15 pitches for Carter, 4 batters retired, 10 strikes thrown, another whiff. This time it's the man from UNC Wilmington. In his second year with Harwich, just like the pitcher Blake Purnell, Brian Arndt. Dylan, he's been really good against Orleans this summer.
Yes, he has. Like you said, he's been here since day one. He's played in all the matchups between Harwich and Orleans. He's had 6 hits this summer against the Firebirds. He's been getting on base. Firebirds actually had trouble throwing strikes to Arndt. 4 walks this summer in the regular season against him.
Weakly grounded towards the left side of the infield. Penny the scoop, the throw in time. Only takes 3 pitches to retire Arndt, and Carter could not have a better start to this game. 5 up, 5 down against the Colorado native.
He continues to throw strikes. I mean, I'm going to say it time and time again. If his slider as well as the changeup, one of them is working because of how good his fastball is, he can be very effective. And keeping the pitch count down is also very important.
Carter's thrown less pitches in 1 2/3 than Purnell threw in the entirety of the first inning.
Good point. Only 5 balls and 18 pitches for Carter.
He misses outside of a right fielder who ended that first inning for Orleans. Elijah Lambros sends one to center field. It gets down for a hit. The first base runner for Harwich, the first hit for either team. It comes from the Maryland Terrapin, a 2-out single.
Central Connecticut State, number 27.
And that's just a good pitch that gets hit. A fastball at the top of the zone that he puts the bat on and just finds a way into center field, keeping it up the middle. Carter has to wipe that away, continue to focus on the batter.
The batter he has to focus on now, the only true lefty in the order for Steve Engler. From Boston College, Cam Leary. Pitch misses high, pops out of a glove of Henry Hunter for a ball, 1-0. You know, it's easy to look at somebody like Grayson Carter, who has the ideal build, an unbelievable fastball, pitches at a powerhouse program in Vanderbilt. I think it's been smooth sailing for him for the entirety of his life. Well, that's simply not the case. He can work out of jams, and he's worked out of situations much tougher than the game of baseball throughout his game of life. He was a number 1 overall prospect coming out of Colorado at Fairview High School, according to the perfect game. But at Vanderbilt, he didn't pitch a lot as a freshman. In fact, he was cut from the baseball team after his freshman year. But then Tim Corbin called him after year 1 and after the MLB draft that summer and said, would you like to come back to the program after the team lost so much pitching to the major leagues? And Carter jumped on the opportunity. This past spring, a 4 ERA as Vandy's midweek starter. In a 0 ERA this summer in Orleans. Shot through the middle of the infield, gets by a lunging Jack Penny. That's back-to-back hits. 2-out singles from the 6th and 7th men in this order, Lambros and Leary.
The designated hitter from South Carolina, number 10,
2 not very hard hit singles. That one off the fists of the bat of Leary, and it just snuck its way through. Unlucky, and sometimes you can get frustrated about that as the pitcher or even the defense. You have to find a way to lock back in.
Leary just his 2nd hit in the last 6 games. Like you said, only 68 miles an hour off the bat, but the perfect spot in between Oyama and Penny in the middle of the infield. Here's Talmadge Lee Croy, the designated hitter. Started at third base in Monday's 2-1 loss at Orleans. Fastball dotted on the outside corner for strike 1.
Carter using the fastball as a weapon. How can he integrate the slider and the changeup as well?
Goes with the breaking ball. It's not in for a strike. Misses upstairs. 2-1. Does he go back to the fastball here? To the South Carolina native who plays his college ball at South Carolina.
Just finished up his sophomore season with the Gamecocks. The fastball in the dirt, and Henry Hunter does a great job to block it up. You know, the catching position for Orleans, it's been steady all summer long. Owen Carpellotti one day, Henry Hunter the next. Both of them have been great behind the plate.
You can't quantify defense behind the plate, but if you could, the Firebirds would be #1 in the league.
2 runners on, 2 out. Fastball is spoiled, and the count is full. Carter dials it up to 99 miles an hour. He's been known to throw as hard as 101 to 102. The runner set to go with 2 outs and a full count. But they're going nowhere. Could not keep that swing behind home plate. Carter, his 3rd strikeout in 2 scoreless innings. And he leaves 2 base runners stranded to end inning number 2. A scoreless tie. We go to the bottom of the 2nd right here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape Home Design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Because of the generous advertisers that you'll see throughout the book. Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League has partnered with OT Sports to provide all 10 teams with specially designed red jerseys and with Zephyr hats to provide all 10 teams with specially designed camo hats, which are worn by the home team every Friday. This special weekly celebration, Red Shirt Fridays, is also sponsored by the Mass State Lottery. Support our troops and join us by wearing red to the ballpark each Friday. And thank you to OT Sports, Zephyr, and the Mass State Lottery for their continued support.
It's going to go right over the Cook's Seafood sign. The green Cook's Seafood.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 2nd, 2 scoreless innings for Grayson Carter.
For the Firebirds, the
Still
center fielder from
scoreless.
Louisville, number 14,
Eddie King Jr. leads off for Orleans, the 6th man of the order. Rising redshirt sophomore. He faces Blake Purnell. Still an inefficient but productive first inning from Purnell on the mound.
He found a way to get through it. I think that's how you would describe it. He was not finding the strike zone often. He threw 24 pitches in the first inning, allowing 3 runners. One not his fault, a ground ball that Ethan Anderson should have had at first base, but then a walk to Penny, a hit by pitch to Hallback. The control was not there for Purnell in the first inning.
Even a 1-1 count to King Jr., who was nearly the hero of Wednesday's loss to Chatham in a game in which Orleans trailed by 10 runs. Swings and misses, goes behind 1-2. The Birds brought it within 2 in the bottom of the 9th. King Jr. came to the plate as the tying run. Struck out looking. One of the few blemishes on what's been a really unbelievable hot streak for the Illinois native. He's got a hit in 7 of the last 9 games. 13 for 33 from the plate in that time. He's been an extra base hit machine. 5 doubles, a homer, and 7 runs driven in.
And brings a lot of speed as well.
The 1-2 he takes for ball 2. A low miss from Purnell. Like you said, for an Orleans team that does not steal a lot of bases, second to last in the league, King, the big threat. 8 for 9 on stolen base attempts this summer. The 2-2 check swing will do it again.
These at-bats are really promising from the Firebirds. I mean, you go back to the Hallback at-bat, even the Oyama at-bat to start off the game, and especially the Micheletti Jr. at-bat in the first inning. The Firebirds are really working Purnell for every single pitch.
Works him for one more pitch. A long at-bat from Eddie King Jr. to start this inning. You mentioned the explosive nature of King's game. Stole 11 bags across 50 games during his sophomore season. at Louisville, well, what should have been his sophomore season, in reality his redshirt freshman year. This summer ago, in the Prospect League, he stole 31 bases, which led the league. Swing and a miss. He strikes out to start the second inning for Orleans. It's the first strikeout for Blake Purnell on the night.
And even though King strikes out there, he continues to put up good at-bats, upwards of 7-8 pitches. The Firebirds have to string these together now and find a way to get the ball in play.
Brandon Stallman's put the ball in play a lot this summer, although he has cooled off a bit as of late. 0 for his last 9, dating back to the middle of Monday's win against Harwich here from Eldredge, but still hitting just under 300 on the campaign, because before that, he was 10 for his last 29. Dylan, it would be really big for Stallman not only to get a hit again, but maybe for the power to come alive in his bat. He slugged nearly .480 during his redshirt junior season with UNC Charlotte, but under 300 here on the Cape.
Stallman has brought a lot of average hitting in terms of singles hitting to the Firebirds. Now, he hasn't found the extra base power yet, like you said. How can he find a way? I mean, you're going from UNC Charlotte. You have a big break between your college season and your summer ball season because Stallman just got here about 16 games ago. Now he's playing here, and if he can find the power stroke, more the better.
He'll weakly ground one. It takes a weird hop to Rivera at second. No problem for the future Kansas State Wildcat. That's his second out of the inning.
And Purnell's doing a really good job at keeping the ball low in the zone. If the Firebirds are going to get to Purnell, it's very difficult. But you even have to look low in the zone or maybe get a mistake that he leaves high in the zone. But don't chase. It's very difficult against the sinker guy like Purnell is, continuously throwing those bowling ball type pitches.
You know, something we've been looking to do all summer long that we haven't is bowl. I know there's a really good, bowling and barbecue spot in Orleans?
There is, but I think it's those duck pin ones where it's like, it's not as we like. I like to call it real bowling when you have the big ball and the 10 pins. And I don't know. The duck pin is a little bit fake to me.
I just think it's uncommon, unfamiliar to us as Connecticut natives. Plus, the weather's been great. Why would you spend your time inside? Henry Hunter, the second to last man in the order at the plate. 1-1 in a count. The catcher committed to play at the University of Georgia after spending 2 years at Alabama Birmingham. Gets ahead. Ever since the month of June ended, Hunter's been really solid, hitting over 230 for Orleans. Didn't drive in a single run in the month of June, has driven in 9 since. 2-2.
And we talk about that first inning where Grayson Carter came on the mound and finished off Harwich's 1, 2, and 3 in just 10 pitches. The Firebirds are not allowing that to happen to Purnell. They're making him continuously work, now reaching 40 pitches here in the second.
And a reliever at the collegiate level, Purnell, 53 appearances, 0 starts at Florida. Grounds one right to him. He fields it low and tosses it over to first. Before we head out here to a quick break, how about we get a look at the Cape Cod Baseball League, see what's happening around the league. First round of the playoffs, not only for Orleans, but for teams in both the East and West. And a couple of stunners, Dylan. Bourne leads big over Katuitt in Brewster. Look at that score in the middle of your screen against the 1 seed YD.
I can't believe it. The 4 seeds showing up in the playoffs against the number 1 seeds on the road. And then Hyannis taking it to Falmouth right now in the 4th inning, or check that, the bottom of the 3rd. The Firebirds have to find a way to get rid of those jujus, get rid of the bottom seeds coming up to win.
We'll head to a quick break and be right back here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your Cat Compact equipment. And this is the support from your local Cat dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
Back to the Birds broadcast network. Not only one of the best athletes of all time, but one of the greatest competitors ever. The late, great Kobe Bryant once said, "After all, greatness is not for everybody." That phrase continues to be used here in Orleans, especially as the playoffs begin today. A lot of players want to be great, but they're not willing to make the necessary sacrifices in order to get to the next level, especially into the MLB. This team in Orleans, they are different. They are hungry to get this title, and they're making so many sacrifices to be here. And the difference about this squad is that they're doing it for the team, not just themselves. They're extremely unselfish, and it's proving, and they are ready to make a deep postseason run. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Wouldn't the Orleans faithful be absolutely thrilled of a deep playoff run, something they haven't seen in a decade? Firebirds have not been to the Cape Cod Baseball League Championship since 2013. And in that season, their first-round opponent was Harwich. They took down the Mariners, eventually lost to Katua in the championship series. Daniel Rivera, the bottom man in the order, started his collegiate career at Southern New Hampshire at the Division III level, transferring to Kansas State this next season. Faces Grayson Carter, Vanderbilt's finest, who's tossed 2 scoreless innings. Highlighted by 3 strikeouts and that fastball, which misses high, and he falls behind an account 2-1.
I think this is the biggest inning for Carter. After a shaky second, allowing 2 hits, he's got to get back on track here in the third.
Misses high once more, falls behind 3-1. Carter pitched just 30 innings during his sophomore season at Vanderbilt. This is his 3rd start of the summer. 3-1 gets the whiff. Technically his 4th, if you include what wasn't his start, but was really a start a week ago today in a game that was resumed midway through against Chatham. Mm-hmm. Who knows what his role will be at Vanderbilt moving forward with that elite fastball being his number 1 weapon. Could be a high-end reliever in the SEC. But here in Orleans, he's getting it done as a starter with his 4th strikeout in under 3 innings pitched.
Carter goes down 3-1 in the count, comes back with 2 fastballs that Rivera can't catch up with. A big first out here in the third. Now back to the top of the order.
He's owned the top pitch velocity in the Cape Cod Baseball League, according to TrackMan, ever since he joined this team when Vanderbilt's season ended late in June. That latest fastball clocking in at 98 miles an hour. Back-to-back strikeouts for Carter. Back to the top of the order with Ali Camarillo, who grounded out to short his first time up.
And now how does Carter, after going through the first time through the order, change up his plan? Does he go with more fastballs? Does he continue to add in the slider and the changeup? We'll have to see.
Camarillo, an all-star at the top of this lineup. Only at 217 this summer. Played last year in the Alaska League with the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Wonder what the weather is there right now. Probably not 70 degrees and beautiful like it is here on the Cape, but I'm not underestimating Alaska. The 0-2. This is high.
I'd love to know what time it is there. It's probably still sunny because they don't have darkness there, right?
That's the one thing that's consistent. I believe they're 4 hours ahead.
Okay, so not too bad, before midnight.
Carter, another strikeout. That's 5. And not even 3 innings on the mound.
That time it was the slider. Carter's going to be using that second time through the order. His season high is 6. That was back on July 21st against Chatham. Right now he has 5.
That's 3 in a row, 2 for Carter. He now faces Kevin Keister. Struck out Talmadge Lee Croy to end the second. Back-to-back Ks to start this inning against Rivera and Camarillo. Keister, one of the latest additions to this Firebirds team, as Carter dials it up to 99, but one of the best. Had a 6-game hit streak to start his summer. It ended on Wednesday in the win against Brewster. Former first-team All-Big Ten player during his sophomore year at Maryland. Put up nearly identical numbers this past spring, but wasn't even on a Big Ten All-Conference team. 2-2.
It's so interesting to see Carter work against a guy like Keister, like you said, Ian. He hasn't been here for very long, like a lot of these Harwich position players, but he's been really good, hitting over 400.
Miss upstairs. Carter goes back to the fastball. 3-2. Keister, a native of Delaware. Not a lot of people can say that, but left fielder Eddie Micheletti can. Keister grew up about 40 minutes away from Micheletti. Payoff misses low. Carter goes 3 straight fastballs. That's a walk. His first of the game. And it comes late in the 3rd inning. A good at bat from Keister.
A walk here with 2 outs. It was 2-out trouble in the 2nd when Lambros and Leary got back-to-back singles. Now with some more 2-out base runners for Harwich, their 3rd of the night.
Left a couple base runners stranded last inning. Elijah Lambros and Cam Leary. Carter struck out Lee Croy to end the frame. Misses low to Ethan Anderson, who was the first of 5 struck out by Carter so far tonight to end a 1-2-3 first. Anderson has hit under 200 this summer, despite hitting nearly 380 during his sophomore year at UVA. And it's not over a small sample size either. He's played in over 20 games. He's on a 3-game hit streak. That's a big swing. Falls down to one knee. Carter goes back to the fastball to even the count.
Anderson's looking to send one out of here. He did that a few times at Virginia this spring. Maybe more than a few.
15 times. But who's counting? That pitch gets away, or rather the pickoff attempt gets away, and that's a free base. Kevin Keister, who walked with 2 outs, puts a runner in scoring position for Harwich. That's an error on the pitcher, Carter. First error for Orleans today. Last time he was on the mound a week ago, his defense didn't necessarily help him there, unfortunately. Doesn't help himself. Chopper right into his glove. Sure-handed there. Trots and throws. Who cares about the error? Grayson Carter, all smiles. And he should have it on his face because he's thrown 3 scoreless frames. Still a scoreless tie. Orleans trying to give him some run support when we come back in the bottom of the 3rd on the Birds Broadcast Network.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
All donations will support the Cape Cod Foundation in their efforts to create attainable housing options across the Cape. If you'd like to donate today, scan the QR code on your stat sheet or visit liveandworkcapecod.com to help attainable housing become a reality on Cape Cod. Do you know the sound Dunkin' Ice makes? Of course you do. It's the sound of summer. And summer sure does sound good. Try all the Dunkin' Refreshers, iced coffee, cold brew, and lattes. Dunkin' Ice, Cape Cod Baseball League runs on Dunkin'. Leading off for the Firebirds, the right field.
Blake Purnell back on the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Dylan, he's worked through some traffic. He's gotten it done through 2 frames. Now he faces 9-1-2. In the Orleans order, it starts with Colin Tuft.
And this feels like a game that the first person to strike, the team to strike first, is going to really continue on. Because offense has been, at times, struggling with runners in scoring position so far tonight.
Colin Tuft, first pitch swinging, backhanded it short. Camarillo, the leaping throw, and it gets out of a glove of Ethan Anderson. Camarillo with an unbelievable effort, but all for nothing. Colin Tuft reaches. They rule it an infield single. It's the first hit of the night for Orleans.
And good hustle by Colin Tuft, even though Camarillo was trying to make a highlight reel play. Tuft, who's on first right now, has really used his speed in the last week. He's created that part of his game in a big part for the Firebirds, who you mentioned it, Ian, have not stolen a lot of bases this season, but Tuft has really done a lot in the past week.
He has 3 stolen bases in his last 6 games. Back to the top of the order with Oyama. He fouls back the first pitch. Tuft 5 for 5 stealing bags on the summer. Similar to Justin Rubin and Chase Hungate, joined his team at the start of July. Now, going back to the point you made about whatever team strikes first is probably going to win this game 1, couldn't be truer for a team like Harwich. Harwich has only won twice this summer when not leading after 6 innings. 2 in 17 when the Mariners don't have the lead after 6. They need to strike first. Oyama the other way. A pop up to left. Cam Leary under it. He makes the catch for out number 1.
Harwich, as you said, not a team to come back a lot. So if Orleans can take the lead first and they continue to pile it on, they'll have a lot of success with how good the back of the bullpen is for Orleans and how they continue their great bullpen. If they have a lead after 6, I'm sure their numbers are great as well.
It's a Harwich bullpen that's been very good as of late. In its last 5 games, an ERA of 2.5 for the relievers of Steve Engler's team. Justin Rubin takes a ball 1-0.
And we mentioned it, when offense is not coming easily to each team, which it's not going to in the playoffs, well, for the most part, maybe not for the other games, we have to find ways to get runners across. Maybe a hit and run could be in the books.
Well, it would make sense, given a guy like Justin Rubin, who leads this Orleans team in batting average. Not a qualified batter because he hasn't been with his team long enough and played enough games to be among the league leaders in the stat, but leads Orleans in batting average. And Colin Tuft, one of the team leaders in stolen bases. Purnell lands one on the outer half for a strike. He's still behind 2-1. Rubin flew out to right, his first time up. One of 2 snags in that inning from Elijah Lambros, which ended in a diving snag of a line out from Eddie Micheletti. Grounded down the third base side. A really good throw from Keister in the double play. Not turned. What a play from Kevin Keister on the hot corner. The backhanded stab. He forces out Colin Tuft at second, but not an around-the-horn double play. Justin Rubin safe at first.
More good defense by Harwich. Orleans is putting the ball in play. Not with a lot of speed, but that was a nice hit. Keister, off his back foot, finds a way to get it to second base, and Rivera makes the catch.
Only 68 miles an hour off the bat of Rubin, who takes Tuft's spot on first, his former UVA teammate. Jack Penny now batting. He takes the ball low and in 1-0.
And we mentioned the stat, Orleans second least in terms of stolen bases on offense, but in the playoffs it's a different animal. Every base so important. If you can get runners into scoring position, helps you out that much more.
Penny fouls one the other way. Only a 75% stolen base rate during a regular season, but like you said, it's playoffs. Unpredictable things happen. Teams change in terms of identity, in terms of aggressiveness. I mean, look at tonight around the league. I know it doesn't really have to do anything with stolen bases, but Brewster blowing out YD. Bourne taking it to Katuitt. You can't predict anything. Whatever's happened in the first 44 doesn't matter when August rolls around.
It doesn't. It's just 2 teams. You roll the ball out there and say play. Whoever's better in a best of 3.
A ball and 2 strikes. Penny stays alive with a runner on and 2 out. I mean, even just looking at this season for these 2 teams, Orleans starts the year 2-6. Ends the year 24-20, won 6 of her final 8. Harwich start of the year 7-3. Barely any of the players who made a big impact at the start of the year are left. And they finish the year 3 games below 500. Penny, line drive, center field, base hit. Rubin stops at second. Penny reaches for the second time tonight with a walk and now a single.
Strong swing from Jack Penny. That's 96 off his bat. Check that, 97 off his bat to move Rubin over to second base is the big point of the game.
Orleans made some traffic along the base pass with 2 outs in the first inning. Penny reached on a walk. Matt Hallback was plunked. Here is Hallback. Ground ball towards Camarillo. It's short. They'll force it second, the inning over. Hallback, who's hit well over 400 over his last 10 games, grounds out on the first pitch. Purnell works through more traffic. The scoreless tie stays the same after 3. We go to the top of the 4th on the Birds Broadcast Network.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod. And be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit. The team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old home.
See you at Agway this season.
Open daily with no appointment needed and staffed by board-certified ER providers. View wait times at CapeCodHealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and online classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and our new 100% online
Back on the Birds
MBA,
Broadcast
visit
Network in the
Curry
top of the
EDU.
4th. Still 0-0 in this first-round playoff game. How about we look at the scores around the league? Let me tell you, they're not scoreless. In fact, runs aplenty. In the West, Bourne with a big lead over Cotuit. That lead final, 14-8. The Braves take the 1-0 series lead over Cotuit. Also final, the 1 seed going down in Game 1 in the East Division as well. And not in the tight game. 18-7, Brewster took down YD. Also in the top of the 5th, Hyannis leads Falmouth 8-2. Ian Nicholas here on the Birds Broadcast Network alongside our writer, Brendan Nordstrom. His first postseason appearance of the summer. Brendan, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, I'm excited. Playoff baseball, this is big.
Big crowd, great writer, great environment. Great pitcher right now. Grayson Carter trying to go for his 4th scoreless frame. He's already struck out 5. Devin Obie, one of those victims, went down looking to start the 2nd inning, trying to avoid the same fate at the start of a 4th.
Grayson's been very efficient so far as well. 40th pitch.
Pitch number 51 gets another strikeout. The 2nd of Obie, the 6th overall for Carter. This start very reminiscent to what Carter was doing against the Chatham A's a couple weeks ago here from Eldredge. Just K after K.
Yeah, and it's when he's able to mix those pitches. Everyone knows how lethal his fastball can be, but when he's able to mix that slider and the changeup as effectively as he has tonight, it's dangerous.
Brian Arndt takes not the fastball, but another offering from Carter for a strike 0-1. You know, different kinds of players use different kinds of methods to get better on the mound. One of them for Grayson Carter, eating fish. A pescatarian his entire life. Added more fish to his diet ahead of his sophomore season at Vanderbilt. And the fastball, after being cut by the Vanderbilt team and being re-added during his freshman offseason, went up to over 100 miles an hour. That pitch up and over the glove of Henry Hunter to even the count.
What are they putting in those fish in?
I don't know. All I'm saying is if I go down to the corner store and get some sushi, I'm not throwing more than 50. Line drive. Matt Hallback's got it at first. Talking about heat from the arm of Carter. Also heat off the bat. 84 miles an hour straight into the glove of Hallback for the 2nd out of the inning.
What else Carter's been able to do so efficiently today is get ahead of batters in the count. You know, 3-pitch strikeout on Obie. You know, he got up 0-2 on Arndt. It's almost what the team was missing in that Chatham game. Obviously, the offense made it competitive at the end, 14-12, but just getting behind in counts the pitchers is what cost them early.
Chopped weakly towards first. Hallback the scoop, the flip to Carter, gets ahead in a count. Well, not really. He only needed 1 pitch to retire Elijah Lambros. Carter goes 1-2-3 for the second time tonight. That's 4 shutout frames from the Vanderbilt Commodore. Go to the bottom of the fourth, still 0-0 here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
At Del Mar Vacations, we believe that every moment spent on Cape Cod is a memory waiting to happen. Book a stay with us. And when you're here, why not enjoy the excitement of a Cape Cod Baseball League game? Del Mar Vacations proudly partners with the Cape Cod Baseball League, where you can watch the future stars of tomorrow play today. Whether you're seeking a family getaway or an adventure-filled escape, Del Mar Vacations has the perfect home for you. Book your dream vacation today and discover the beauty of Cape Cod. Del Mar Vacations and the Cape Cod Baseball League, your ticket to an extraordinary getaway.
The Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves courtesy of Franklin. From the Cape League to the big leagues, it's all hands on deck. As a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Mass State Lottery is celebrating the games we love playing. From the baseball diamond to the many lottery games that help support all 351 cities and towns across the Commonwealth. So here's to 100 years of Cape Cod baseball and 100 more. Leading off for the Firebirds, the left fielder from Virginia Tech, number 24.
While other playoff games in the Cape Cod Baseball League have seen scores with 18 runs in it and 14 runs in it, it's still scoreless after 3.5 here from Eldredge. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. A good old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Blake Purnell back on the mound for his fourth inning of work after Grayson Carter went 1-2-3 in the top of the inning. Foul ball from Eddie Micheletti. Smoked off the bat the other way off the first pitch. 89 miles an hour, went 267 feet.
Just a little bit late, but I like the thinking from Micheletti to go the other way with someone who keeps the ball at the bottom of the zone. That's where he's going to find the best contact.
He pops this pitch up high to shallow right field. Underneath it for the snag is Lambros with the left-handed glove. He records out number 1. Micheletti puts 2 balls in play and goes down on 2 pitches.
More good swings. The Firebirds haven't had their best swing in the night. I think Jack Penny's hit back in the third was good. They need to find a way to get a ball in the gap. Purnell's not easy to hit extra base hits off of. To get what they give him.
57 pitches for Purnell through 3 1/3. He's gotten it done in a much different way than Grayson Carter. Carter with 6 strikeouts in 4 innings. Purnell with 1. But the results speak for themselves. Eddie King Jr. at the plate for the second time. He is the owner of that lone strikeout for Purnell. He got off the second inning.
When Purnell is missing, he's missing up and into righties. Up and outside to lefties. Could induce a few hit-by pitches. We already saw one tonight.
Matt Hallback hit off the left side of his helmet. Check swing. King didn't go. According to the first base umpire, Jeff Kinney. Hallback was plunked all the way back in the first, but was stranded after a fly out of Micheletti to end the frame. Purnell the 2-1. Chopped towards Camarillo. His throw with plenty of time to first gets King out for out number 2.
And this game reminds you of the last time these two met up. And that was a few days ago, back on Monday night in a 2-1 win for the Firebirds. It was a pitcher's duel just like this one. A few cracks, and then Jake Casey at the walk-off in the bottom of the 9th.
Orleans took the 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Harwich didn't reply till a solo shot from Camarillo in the top of the 4th. Brandon Stallman takes the ball 1-0. And like you said, in the bottom of the 9th, with 5 infielders playing for Harwich, 3 to the right side of second base, Jake Casey, for the first time all summer, went to the left side of the field. A grounder that rolled past the third base bag Eddie King Jr. scored. 4th walk-off of the summer for Orleans. We have seen a lot of good finishes here from Eldredge Park. 2-0 in the count to Stallman, the St. Louis, Missouri native. 0 for 1 tonight with a ground out, which makes him 0 for his last 10. Still ahead.
Stallman, a perfect guy to go the other way. You know, he loves to pull the ball, but at times he's found ways to get it to left field as a lefty. Purnell's dotting the outside corner.
Does so once again, but doesn't get the call. Purnell goes behind 3-1. Trying to use this second summer here in Harwich as maybe a launching pad towards a better junior season with Florida than sophomore year, where he had over a 9 ERA and just over 20 innings pitched. Lands the pitch upstairs for strike 2 looking. Purnell originally from Boynton Beach, Florida. A Florida native. Over the head of him, but to Camarillo, the throw in time. Ali Camarillo has been awesome at shortstop tonight for Harwich. A 1-2-3 frame from Blake Purnell in the bottom of the 4th. Carter did it twice. Purnell has done it twice as well. Dylan takes over on the play-by-play when we come back in the top of the 5th.
The Hockey Foundation has been proud to support the Cape League for more than 25 years. Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Please remember recycle your empty bottles, cans, and all other recyclable materials. It takes only 6 recycled plastic bottles to make a new baseball cap.
First 4 innings down. Still no score between the Firebirds and the Mariners here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Dylan Pescatore and Ian Nicholas always providing the coverage here in 2023. Grayson Carter back to the mound, and Ian, his pitch count and himself has looked really good.
Under 60 pitches for Carter through 4 innings, and just dominance on the mound from Vandy's best. 6 strikeouts. The fastball has been as good as it's been all summer, clocking in as high as 99 tonight, and that sets up his 2 off-speed offerings to do work. Everything is built around the fastball for Carter, much like many pitchers. But when you have the best fastball in the Cape Cod Baseball League and it's working as well as it has tonight, you're going to get the result that you get. Only 2 hits for Harwich through 4.
2 hits for Harwich. They bring up the bottom of their order. It starts with Cam Leary out of BC, the only lefty hitter in this Harwich lineup, along with a switch hitter in Ethan Anderson, who bats 3rd. Carter, after a 9-pitch 4th inning, starts here in the 5th. His first pitch is outside for a ball. And if we're talking just straight up official starts of the game, not a resumption like we did back in Chatham last Friday, this is the longest that Carter has gone. A pop-up into shallow left field. Eddie Micheletti has a beat on it. Still waiting and makes the catch. A mile-high pop-up caught for out number 1.
Grayson Carter didn't pitch a whole lot during his sophomore year at Vanderbilt. It was much more compared to his freshman season. But Coach Callie Nicholson has every reason to trust him. He's come up in a couple big spots, and really when he's pitched, his team hasn't necessarily given him the most run support either. So he's proven through thick and thin whether the defense is good or it's not. He can get it done. And he didn't pitch a lot in the spring, so why not let him fly?
Talmadge LeCroy takes a ball outside. LeCroy, who struck out, the 3rd of 6 strikeouts for Grayson Carter, was LeCroy in the 2nd inning. He's up 2-0 in the count with 1 out here in the 5th. Carter now throws ball 3. Between last start, which we mentioned last Friday at Chatham, and now, Jim Lawler, the pitching coach for the Firebirds, has changed something in Grayson Carter, who used to go all the way above his head with his glove and then come down and start his motion. Lawler fixed him, and now, as he fires a strike, has kept Carter's hands at his belt for the entire time through his windup. He feels that it allows his body to stay on time. The 3-1, and there for a strike at the top of the zone. Lee Croy not a fan. Full count.
Some say old habits die hard, but for Carter, he's just completely eliminated that aspect of his windup.
Full count. Cold strike 3. Strikeout number 7 for Grayson Carter is a fastball at the bottom of the zone for strike 2. For out 2.
Grayson Carter putting together what might be his best start since high school. I mean, didn't go more than 5 innings at Vanderbilt, didn't have more than 5 strikeouts in a game in spring ball. Tonight he has found another gear.
Another strike fired to Daniel Rivera, who did strike out back in the 3rd. 0-1 pitch to Rivera is on the ground. Pass Carter to Oyama at second. 1-2-3 in the 5th. Grayson Carter makes it look easy as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score here in Game 1 between Harwich and Orleans.
After a day in the summer sun, now let's go Firebirds. Hit one over the neck, outfield banners.
Forever we worked with University of Bedford. Like I seriously was at and he was like speeding when Vinny Baker.
The starting pitchers are doing what they're asked to do and a little bit more. Only 2 hits for each side through 4.5. Blake Purnell back to the mound for his 5th inning of work. He went 1-2-3 in the 4th. Hasn't allowed a hit since the 3rd. And he starts the 5th against Henry Hunter, the left-handed catcher for the Firebirds. Purnell, the righty out of Florida, a sinker and slider, has been excellent ever since the 1st inning where he allowed 2 base runners in the 3rd. He's gone 1-2-3 in the 2nd and the 4th. His pitch count also looks good, just at 67 through 4. Purnell has his front foot in front of his left. A bunt by Hunter goes right back to Purnell, who steps and fires for the out. Anderson picks it out of the air. Hunter, who looks to get on with a leadoff single on a bunt, does not work out. 1 out here in the 5th.
This game is absolutely flying by. Looks nothing like the game we experienced Wednesday here from Eldredge. One that took almost 4 hours to complete. Saw 26 runs scored. Tonight, almost done through 5. We're breezing by and we're scoreless.
Still donuts on the board. Colin Tuft, the batter, with 1 out here in the 5th, takes high for a ball. Tuft had a single in the 3rd to the hole of shortstop. Ali Camarillo, who's already had a day defensively, could not make the play, and Anderson, the first baseman, could not make the scoop. The 1-0 pitch to Tuft is in there for a strike. Ian Tuft brings so much to this team, offensively, defensively, base running. Could be a 5-tool player.
He's got it all. When he hits the ball, he's hit it really hard this summer.
1-1 on the ground foul, third base side. This game as similar as it gets to the last time these two teams met.
A 2-1 game. We've already broken it down. Pitching took the forefront. Throughout the Cape Cod Baseball League this season, especially towards the tail end of the year, it's been a hitter-friendly league. It takes a while to adjust to the wood bats, but today, it's not wood bats that's the problem, it's the pitching.
1-2, almost gets a piece of Tuft as he backs away. A lot of those sinkers are missing up and into righties and almost clipping the jerseys of the Firebirds.
It's a shame. It's a lefty-heavy lineup. Tough one of 4 righties in the order.
2-2, swing and a miss. Purnell collects his second strikeout of the day on out number 2 here in the 5th.
The one thing for Colin Tuff, you talk about the 5 tools that he has: speed, hitting for power, fielding, potentially hitting for average. Strikeouts have been an issue. You know, he's only struck out 23 times, 23% of the time in his last 22 at-bats headed into the night. He's got to keep that number down, and if he can, he's going to continue to get playing time.
Here's Joe Oyama back to the top of the order for the 3rd time tonight. First pitch to Oyama is a strike. Oyama's been the driver of the bus for this offense, hitting .360 in the regular season. That's good for second on the Firebirds to Matt Hallback. First and doubles and stolen bases. He grounds it to the right side. Bobbled. The throw is in time. Daniel Rivera makes a strong play at second, and Purnell matches. He's retired 7 in a row. Back to the 3rd inning. We'll go to the 6th. Still scoreless between Harwich and Orleans.
All right, kids, get out your green raffle tickets. This is for the autographed baseball. All right, you ready, kids? You got your tickets out? Here we go. Here's the
Welcome
number.
back to the Birds Broadcast Network. One player who wants to bring back the championship title here to Orleans more than most is Eddie Micheletti. Growing up during the summer, he would be here in Orleans watching these Firebirds games right here at Eldredge Park. He would be sitting on the famous hill just dreaming of one day being able to put on a Firebirds jersey and play on this diamond. And guess what? Those dreams became a reality. He told me how blessed he feels every single day to put on that uniform and play for this organization. But for him, this energy, it's not stopping anytime soon. Yes, he's happy they made it into the playoffs, but they want to make a deep postseason run. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. A deep postseason run starts with win number 1. The Firebirds are looking to get that on the back of Eddie Micheletti Jr. But who's come out the biggest so far tonight? Grayson Carter, the starting pitcher for the Orleans Firebirds, through 5 innings. He's been dominant, only 2 hits allowed and 7 strikeouts, the most by a Firebirds pitcher this season.
And that's saying something. Whether it was Daniel Avidia, Derek Clark, 2 of the best pitchers in the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer, both of them with sub-2 ERAs and all-stars. But Carter's stuff, it's at a different level. It's a fastball that has not been touched tonight, and his secondary offerings have been just as good.
The 70th pitch from Carter is fouled away by Ali Camarillo, who, Ian, hasn't done much this summer against opposing squads, but against the Firebirds, he's been really good.
He's been really good, and he's been somebody who has played great defense at short for the most part. And that's why he's in the lineup every single day. Had a home run on Monday against the Firebirds.
The 1-1 is high with the changeup at 87. Carter with 7 Ks, 2 hits allowed through 5. Pitch count right above 70 pitches. Warming in the bullpen is Matthew Watson, the right-handed pitcher. 2-1 is smoked to left center field. Eddie King goes back at the wall. It's gone. A solo shot for Ali Camarillo, whose day just continues to get better. Harwich strikes first.
As soon as we talk about it, what does Ali Camarillo do? Pop one 98 miles an hour off the bat, 385 feet to left center. Had a couple of dominant seasons with Cal State Northridge, transferring to Texas A&M, and that is why. He'll give you good defense in the infield, but he gives you a big-time swing.
Camarillo must love swinging the bat here at Eldredge, and the first mistake by a pitcher is off of Grayson Carter. Ali Camarillo, a home run to give Harwich a 1-0 lead.
This is big for Harwich. 14 of their 20 wins this summer have come when the Mariners lead by 1 or more after 6 innings. Still a lot of baseball to play in this 6th inning, but the Mariners just play at a different level when they get the lead into the late stages of a game.
1-2, popped up foul. Hallback's going to give it a look, but it's going to make the fans, as it actually bounced off the light pole. As Tuft was running over near the group of fans on the base of the hill. And how does Carter, who was perfect basically through 5, allowing just 2 hits and no runs, lock back in?
Also the first earned run against Carter this summer. Ultimately, you just got to remember what you did before the home run. 7 strikeouts. More than any pitcher on this team all summer.
1-2, broken bat, grounder up the middle. Oyama to first, caught in time to get Keister. Out number 1 here in the 6th, off the bat of Keister. It brings up Ethan Anderson, the switch hitter, hitting left.
I think Carter's going to be fine. If he can get 2 more outs, his day will be over, and he'll done his job. His defense has supported him. His offense has not. All he can do is continue to do what he does, which is pound the zone.
Carter's first pitch to Anderson, a swing and a miss. He was definitely expecting a fastball. He got the changeup at 88.
This is the evolution of Grayson Carter. Yes, that fastball was really good.
Another changeup and another swing and miss. Anderson's looking to put it in the parking lot.
It's been a tough summer for Anderson from the plate after a terrific spring with Virginia. Just hasn't been his time.
0-2, 3 changeups, 3 swings and misses. Carter playing mind games with Ethan Anderson for his 8th strikeout of the night.
Anderson, who's been playing his best baseball as of late, 11 for 31, headed into tonight in his last 8 games. Somebody who's walked more than struck out in the spring with UVA. And he goes down in 3 pitches.
The first pitch to Devin Obie got away. 1 mistake by Grayson Carter, and right now it's the difference. A solo home run by Ali Camarillo. Here in the top of the 6th. The Birds have had base runners. They haven't been able to drive them home against Blake Purnell. The 1-0 runs high. And we talked in the pregame about Grayson Carter, what he can give to this Firebirds team. We thought maybe 3 or 4 innings. The fact that he's pitching here in the 6th and Harwich only has 1 is a huge benefit.
Helps your bullpen out a lot for Game 2.
2-0 is fouled away. Game 2 tomorrow, a special start time. Not 6 o'clock like usual at White House Field. It will be 5:30 first pitch between the Birds and the Mariners. The 2-1 from Carter. Off the end of the bat to Hallback, who bobbles it, will toss to Carter. He catches, he tags the bag for out number 3. If that's the end to Grayson Carter's night, it's been amazing. 6 innings of 1-run ball, 8 strikeouts for the right-handed hurler as he walks off the mound. 1-0 Mariners as we go bottom 6.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Equal housing lender. Your attention please now. Pitching for Harwich from Boston College, number 37, Sean Hard.
Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, new pitcher for Harwich. It's Sean Hard, the right-handed hurler. Out of Boston College, the rising junior. He'll take over here in the 6th. 1-0 Harwich. And Ian, why is it that Orleans doesn't have a run yet?
It's because Blake Purnell put together his best performance of the summer in his second summer here with the Mariners. Went a season-high 5 innings for the third time in 4 appearances. Didn't give up a run. Only allowed 2 hits to the Firebirds, and it didn't do him any damage. 2 strikeouts and a walk. His pitches just, especially to both lefties and righties, were really good. And now a really good reliever comes out in Sean Hard, who's had Orleans' number this year.
He has. He last pitched on July 31st, a clean inning against Orleans. He's actually seen the Firebirds twice. Back on June 18th, if you can remember back then. 2 innings, 1 run on 2 hits, and 5 strikeouts. That was a long time ago, Ian, and how do they get to him now with the top and middle of the order coming up for Orleans?
It's going to be difficult. Orleans has had no offensive rhythm today and didn't have any offensive mojo when these two teams played on Monday, and the Birds only scored 2 runs in a walk-off win. Get the leadoff base runner aboard. You've only got 1 leadoff base runner on today. When Colin Tuff reached on a single in the third, he didn't do anything with it. Justin Rubin, who's been so good at getting on base this year, nearly a .500 on base percentage for Orleans. He's got to get on.
First pitch is high. A new view for the Orleans batters as they're going from a sidewinding righty to a righty that pretty much goes over the top in Sean Hard. The 6'5 righty fires outside. Now 2-0 to Rubin, who's 0 for 2 on the day, a fly out to right and a fielder's choice. Here in the 6th, 1-0, Harwich on a solo shot, 2-0, right back up the middle. Camarillo can't make the play. And like Ian said, get the leadoff man on. Rubin is on. What should go down as an infield single as it sneaks into shallow center. A hit either way for Justin Rubin to start out the 6th.
That's what Orleans has kind of missed at the top of this order. With Rubin in and out of a lineup, they've experimented with Fenwick Trimble and Colin Tuff, but he puts the ball in play, Rubin does, and when he does, he puts it in good spots. Doesn't hit it hard, just does enough to get on base.
Rubin on first. Jack Penny swinging first pitch. Pop up, shallow left. Coming in is Leary near the line. He'll make the catch in foul territory. 1 pitch and an out for Jack Penny here in the 6th.
That's not how you want to follow up the Rubin hit. Jack Penny, who's got some of the best plate discipline and baseball IQ on his team. He's been so good from the box this summer. 2 great at-bats to start this game with a walk and a single. And then he fouls out on the first pitch he sees. Matt Hallback, how does he follow it up?
On first is Rubin. Hallback the batter. Rubin has some speed. First pitch to Hallback's outside with the sweeping slider from Sean Hard. 85 miles per hour. Ian, I would go on to say that Matt Hallback's probably the most underrated hitter in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
I totally agree. I mean, he ends the season, the regular season that is, with a higher batting average than Joe Oyama.
Hallback fouls it off on a check swing.
And Oyama is going to be a candidate for the MVP award across the league, as he should be. Matt Hallback probably won't. It is what it is. You know, he hasn't been an extra base hit machine, but facts are facts. He's driven in 11 runs in his last 14 games. He's been the engine that's churned this team.
Hallback checks his swing on a strike that's already called. A base hit by Rubin up the middle. And then a first pitch fly out by Jack Penny. Matt Hallback down 1-2 in the count to Sean Hard. The Boston College righty. The 1-2, swing and a miss. A strikeout of Hallback for the second out here in the 6th.
It's so interesting to see guys who struggle in the spring and come out here in the summer and dominate. This past spring at BC was not a good year for Sean Hard. He had a 9.6 ERA in 10 innings. His freshman year, he had a 12 ERA in 33 innings. But this summer with Harwich, he's starting to put it together.
He looks good doing it. A strikeout of Hallback. Now he faces Eddie Micheletti Jr. in the left-handed batter's box. Micheletti hit the ball hard in the first inning. A line drive to right. A diving catch by Lambros. Would have driven in a run at the time. He bats with a runner on first in Rubin. Pitch is low, 2-0. And it seems like the Firebirds, who all season have gone through ups and downs on offense, are waiting for that big hit. This is a guy who's had a lot of big hits for the Birds.
Especially over these last 2 games. He's driven in 6 runs. He's been super dependable. Multiple hits in 3 of his last 4.
2-0, a fastball down the middle. Called a strike. Matthew Watson, the right-handed hurler, warming up in the bullpen for the Firebirds. The 2-1 pitch. Micheletti gets it up in the air, but in the infield. Anderson gives us a look. Now it's Rivera, and he makes the catch for out number 3. A leadoff knock by Justin Rubin, but the Firebirds can't do anything with it. Still 1-0 Harwich as we go to the 7th.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your CAT compact equipment. And this is the support from your local CAT dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
Your attention please now. Pitching for the Firebirds from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, number 35, Matthew Watson.
From Grayson Carter to Matthew Watson, the 6'5" righty for the Firebirds takes the mound for the first time in 5 days here on August 4th, first day of playoffs. Happy playoffs, everybody. Watson from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the rising senior, will take the mound for the Firebirds here in the 7th. But Ian, first man out of the bullpen's in the 7th because of why?
Grayson Carter dominance. His 3rd start of the summer officially, really his 4th start, all said and told, in his best. One of the best pitching performances we've seen in Orleans this summer. For a pitching staff that had the 2nd lowest ERA in the league, Carter with a season-high 8 strikeouts, more than any pitcher for Orleans this summer in 6 innings. Only gave up 3 hits, only 1 walk, but like you said, 1 mistake. A solo shot for Ali Camarillo last inning, which allowed the Mariners to take the lead they still own.
They're up 1-0 as we go to the 7th. A low-scoring game after every other game today. Bourne winning 14-8 over Katuitt. Hyannis up 11-3 right now over Falmouth. And Brewster up 18-7. And that game finished in Yarmouth. Tonight and right here, only 1 run through 6. Watson's fastball is fouled back by Brian Arendt, the 5-hitter for these Harwich Mariners. 0 for 2 on the day is Arendt. Watson has been really good for the Firebirds this summer in 7 innings as Arendt goes around. A 1.28 ERA in 5 games, all out of the bullpen. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 3 hits. He had a perfect ERA until last time at Hyannis. The 0-2 pitch, Arendt spoils it.
You mentioned what he's been able to do this summer as a late ad. You know, Texas A&M Corpus Christi doesn't scream superstar, but originally committed to Oklahoma early on in the recruiting process, suffered a major injury, had to reverse course, and now he's here.
0-2 on the ground to shortstop. Jack Penny, the throw in time to get Arendt for the first out here in the 7th. Watson, who had to get Tommy John in his final year of high school, decided against Oklahoma, got the surgery, came back in just 10 months, and now pitching really well at Texas A&M Corpus Christi after 2 years at Eastern Oklahoma, the community college. First pitch is low, to Elijah Lambros, who's 1 for 2 on the day.
Watson can give you length, too. He was a starter with the Islanders in the spring. Pitched 78 innings across 14 starts.
The 1-0 is low. Now, you might hear us say Watson's from playing his ball, at least, in Texas. And you ask, why are they the Islanders? Well, we did our research on this. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi is actually on an island, South Padre Island, as he fires a strike to Lambros. You wouldn't think that if you say, oh, a guy's from Texas, and he actually lives on the water.
It's true. You know, when you zoomed in on Google Maps,
Lambros goes around for strike 2.
When you saw it the first time, it's pretty evident. And it makes sense. Usually what, a basketball school that's made some noise as of late, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, but the baseball team now on the map.
Literally. 2-2 on the ground foul. Stallman gives it a look, but it goes down the line to where the fans are sitting, blocked off by a faint white line, which is the out-of-bounds line, here at Eldredge. Watson looking for out number 2 in this 7th inning, his first inning of work. The pitch is low and away as it bounces all the way into the Orleans dugout.
You know, you keep it with the geographical theme. Watson originally from Rogers, Arkansas, which probably not a lot of people would know unless you knew that it was part of the Ozarks. The famous Netflix show, Ozark. I watched it. Couldn't get through a full season.
The 3-2 is fouled away once more, goes out of play. And what's it about?
It's about Jason Bateman, who is a great actor. He plays the lead character. He does a lot of bad things. And he has to relocate his family to Arkansas, where he continues to do bad things and make money because he does it.
Well, that's an interesting title. An interesting summary. The full count pitch in the air to center. Eddie King moves a few feet to his right and will make the catch for out number 2. Matthew Watson, 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th. You know what I wonder, as the next batter, the lefty Cam Leary, comes up, is when you have one of these shows where it's all about the location, let's say like the Ozarks, do they actually film it in the Ozarks?
Oh, now you're putting me on a quest. I can look.
Sometimes they fake it.
Oh, they do it a lot of the time.
The righty Watson fires to the lefty Leary, who fouls it away.
Well, the answer to your question is they did not shoot it in Arkansas. Although the family in the show travels through Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Illinois, the show is actually filmed in Atlanta.
Look at that. Now you know. The Ozarks. Fake. 0-1 in for a strike. Now, the National Monument is real. And the National Park, still there. The show, pulling some strings on you.
Good show, though.
Watson looking to go 1-2-3. The lefty Leary in his way. The 0-2 pitch, it's low with the changeup. Now, I talked about Grayson Carter getting a little bit of an adjustment from Jim Lawler, the pitching coach for the Firebirds. Matthew Watson now has a new slider grip from Jim Lawler as well. 1-2, there's the slider, a little bit low. 2-2, 2 outs, nobody on.
That's a good pitch. Jim Lawler, his second-year pitching coach, helps speak it into existence, and it could have been called a strike there.
Watson with the long pause. The 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. A line drive into left center. Eddie King sprints over and makes the catch on the run for out number 3. Matthew Watson goes 1-2-3 here in the 7th. We'll stretch, and we'll see if the Orleans bats can get hot in the bottom of the 7th.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
Kids.
I'm going to try to get these kids singing, but doesn't work.
Firebirds dugout trying to find ways to scratch across a run with 9 outs to work with. They start with Eddie King Jr., Brandon Stallman, and Henry Hunter. Down 1, and Sean Hard, the BC man, out there for another inning of work after a single to Justin Rubin to start his outing, but then got 3 straight outs to strand Rubin at first base. The Firebirds have stranded 5 runners tonight.
The former Yankees draft pick out of high school, Sean Hard, continues his great summer. Super efficient in that last inning, only threw 13 pitches.
King is 0 for 2 on the day. Faces Hard for the first time and sees the ball outside, 2-0. And it seems like Harwich and their pitching staff has been really good tonight, as the score says it is, but has also fallen behind in a lot of counts. The Firebirds haven't been able to take advantage just yet. 2-0 fouled back.
You know, the reason why this Harwich team is still where it's at and still competing to get out of the first round of the playoffs is because of the bullpen. I know it's been up and down, and Orleans has had their opportunities tonight, but a 2.5 ERA for this bullpen in the last 5 games.
The 2-1 is low. Now 3-1 to King. The Firebirds have had their leadoff man on 3 times tonight. Back in the first, Joe Oyama reached on an error. Colin Tuft a single in the third, and then Rubin a single last inning. The 3-1, King thought it was low. The home plate umpire, Chris Ergstrand, did not. Full count.
The big thing is after every single one of those base runners reached, what happened, and that was recorded the next time up.
3-2, base hit up the middle into center field. King thought he walked. He'll take the single instead, and another leadoff knock with nobody out.
Doesn't need to be fancy, right? Only 82 miles an hour off the bat. Finds itself settling in the center field. Eddie King has become one of the most clutch players in this Firebirds order over the last 2 weeks.
Brandon Stallman, the next batter for the Firebirds. King on first. Stallman goes to bunt. He fouls it back.
And you got to wonder, does Eddie King take off and potentially try to steal second here? The best base runner on this Firebirds team, 8 for 9 on stolen bases this summer.
Stallman was looking to bunt him over there. King off first, held on by Anderson. Stallman squares again. The pitch is outside. Pick back to first. He's safe. The catcher, Brian Arendt, looked to get Eddie King on a back pick. But the runner got back there safely. Count 1-1.
Arendt with playoff experience. Played in both of Harwich's games last year against Brewster in the first round.
Stallman squares again. The pitch is in there for a strike. Stallman straight up misses it.
For somebody who's 0 for his last 11, he's trying to do a job. Now he's going to have to try to do it by getting a base hit or battling back in the count.
Hard with the deep breath. The 1-2. Did Stallman go? The check. He did not. Now, a benefit of these playoffs is that now each game has 4 umpires rather than 3. So no more checking behind the mound to see if a hitter checked his swing or not. That check was to the third base umpire, Mickey Garcia. Count 2-2. King off first. The pitch is low. Stallman swings and misses, but King's going to take second. Then the throw goes into center field. King takes off for third. It gets behind Obi. King slides into third. 1 out on the strikeout of Stallman, but defensive miscues by Harwich allows a runner to be 90 feet away for Orleans.
This is not going to be a pretty win for the Firebirds if they come back. They're going to have to gut it out and do everything they possibly can to take a bag here or there. We talked about it. Eddie King, not only clutch in the box, but clutch with the base running as the infield comes in.
1 out. Henry Hunter to bat with a runner on third and King. Of course, that allows the possibility for a wild pitch, a pass ball. The Firebirds need to find a way to get this run across and tie the game. First pitch to Henry Hunter is high.
Brian Arendt has not allowed a pitch to get by him tonight.
And just threw a ball into center field, which allowed King to go to third. The 1-0 pitch to Hunter, swing and a miss.
Hard dialing it up another notch. Each of the last 2 pitches up to 94 miles an hour for the New Jersey native.
Infield in for Harwich, I should say. Going to cut off the run. Hunter swings through a fastball at the top of the zone. A strikeout is what Hard wants. It's what Harwich needs. Hunter would love a fly ball to the outfield. The clap's going here at Eldredge. The 1-2 inside. Hard thought he had the strikeout.
Pumping it up to 96. Sean Hard with over 30 strikeouts and 23 innings pitched headed into tonight, and he shows you why right there.
2-2. 1 out, runner on third. Hard kicks, he deals. Strike 3. Hunter goes down swinging on 95 at the top of the zone for out number 2.
Up and in. Sean Hart says, I'm going to give you my best stuff, and you try to keep up with it. You know, not the hardest throwing pitcher tonight after what Grayson Carter did with 8 Ks through 6 innings, but Hart's got plenty of juice in that fastball. Trying to keep Eddie King Jr. at third.
Pitching so good for Harwich. Can the Firebirds take advantage of an error by Brian Arendt? King at third. Colin Tuff, the batter. First pitch is high and outside with the slider. Tuff so far tonight. A single to the hole at shortstop in the third, and then a strikeout in the 5th. The 1-0 just outside for a ball. And it's not going to be easy to drive home a run in this game if it's not a homer. How can Tuff do it here?
Do what he did a few days ago against Chatham, a 2-run shot.
2-0 pitch. Just outside, 3-0.
Engstrand's got a tight strike zone. That's a good pitch. It's right on the outside corner. I think it's the right call, but it's going to not be easy to get that call.
The 3-0 to Tuft is down the middle for a strike at 92. He takes a little bit off. King still at third. The Firebirds need to bring him in to tie the game. The infield back now with 2 outs. 3-1 the count. The pitch from Hard, and Tuft's bat goes flying. Down the left field line, foul territory, and the bat goes flying. Tuft pointing to it. He says he wants it back. It was a strike. He missed the ball. So full count, 2 outs, and Tuft is now going to go for a search for his bat. It's being handed over the fence to Max Fesky, the third base coach and the hitting coach. He gives it to Tuft. The transaction is complete, and Tuft now has to bat with 3-2 and 2 outs.
That's awful. Unfortunately, that Tuft lost a grip of his bat there. Like you said, not the first time we've seen that. Might have gotten a piece of a fan here from Eldredge. Let's hope they're all right, because a wood bat flying like that, you never want to see it. And that's the thing at Eldredge. You can sit anywhere at any time.
As we focus back in, the count's full. It's 2 outs, and the phrase "win it" is being told to Colin Tuff from the Orleans Firebirds dugout. Sean Hard comes set. The 3-2 pitch outside for a ball. A walk from Tuft puts runners on the corners. And possibly your best hitter with situational opportunities, Joe Oyama, comes to bat.
This team needs a Joe Oyama signature moment. And to be perfectly honest, I think Joe Oyama needs it. He's been good over the last few games, but it's been a while since he did something sensational. Hit a triple. Hit a double. The extra base machine. At just 5'7", 170, has provided so many big moments for his team. They need one more right now.
Tuft on first, King on third. First pitch from Hard to Oyama is a strike with the fastball. And the fastball's been really good for Hard. He hasn't thrown a lot of all speed. He hasn't needed to.
And he's not getting that call on the outside corner to right. He's now facing a lefty.
0-1, Oyama swings and misses at the slider.
He pounded that fastball, working against Henry Hunter. It worked. Much different batter this time around than the left-handed Joe Oyama, who, with 2 strikes, is still very good.
0 for 3 is Oyama, with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Tuff takes off and almost hits Oyama. Tuff takes second. That could prove big. 2 in scoring position for the Firebirds. Count 1 and 2. The lefty Oyama against the righty Sean Hard. The pitch on the ground to first. Big hop to Anderson. He'll make the play right before Oyama gets there. What a job from Sean Hard. Gets through the 7th after a runner on third base with 1 out. The Firebirds leave 2 in scoring position as we go to the 8th.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod, and be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit. The team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old home.
See you at Agway this season.
For the Harvard Crews, 693-014. 693-014. For the Academy tickets, 297-058. 297-058. For the Firebird toys, 692-246. 692-246. For the skimboard, 297-756. 297-756. And for half the money, with the winner going home with.
Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, top of the 8th. The Firebird just missed a golden opportunity in the bottom of the 7th. A runner on third and Eddie King after an error by Brian Arendt. His throw down went into center field, and Ian King could have scored on that play if he didn't slide.
It's a tough call to make, right? You don't want to take an extra risk when you're down 1-0 in a game where offense has been at a premium. You got 2 bags there if you're Eddie King. But like you said, I don't think it would have been greedy to go for home. He had an opportunity. The ball got behind Devin Obie in center field. If Orleans doesn't score a run in these last 2 innings and can't keep it a 1-run game, you look back at that moment.
Watson, the righty, back on for another inning. Fires high now 2-0 to Talmadge LeCroy. LeCroy has been up twice, struck out twice, once looking and once swinging. Watson went 1-2-3 in the 7th. 2-0 off the end of the bat. Hallback, what a play. He'll toss to Watson for the out. A line drive to Hallback, who had his glove in the right spot after a weird hop off the lip of the grass. 1 out here in the 8th.
A first base masterclass tonight. Yeah, I understand there was that first inning error from Ethan Anderson, but Anderson makes a great play to end last inning on the Joe Oyama ground out. Had to leap and make the play. Matt Hallback follows it up here.
He'll now face the bottom man in the order. Daniel Rivera tosses the ball. Rivera 0-for-2 on the night. Watson looking to work through inning number 2. 1-0 to Rivera in for a strike. Ian, if anything, you can say how great the Orleans pitching staff has been as well tonight.
It's not a surprise because you've trotted out some of your best options.
1-1 popped up behind first into shallow right in foul territory. Colin Tuft makes the catch.
That's when you get when you come into the playoffs. You know, on Wednesday it was an anomaly. We're throwing arms at some of them hadn't even pitched in an Orleans Firebirds uniform before that game against Chatham. Others, guys, just looking to audition for an opportunity to play in the playoffs. But you trot out your right-handed hurler from Vanderbilt throwing 100, and then one of your most reliable bullpen options in Matthew Watson. This is how the game is supposed to go.
It brings up the man who is the reason why this game is not scoreless. Ali Camarillo, a solo shot back in the 6th off Grayson Carter. Takes a fastball at the top of the zone by Watson. Only 2 home runs in the regular season for Camarillo, and now 1 to start off the playoffs.
And it's a storyline we've talked about all summer long with this Firebirds pitching staff. They've given up the most home runs in the league. If you include regular season, that's 42 on the year. And what have we said? Well, usually those home runs don't come back to bite the Firebirds because they're solo shots. Camarillo hit the solo shot. It didn't hurt you on Monday. If you can't put up a run, it's going to hurt you here tonight.
3 to the left side of second base against Camarillo. The 1-1 from Watson. He goes the other way, beats the shift for a base hit here with 2 outs. Everything going right for Ali Camarillo. A home run in the 6th, and now a single to right field here in the 8th.
I understand his numbers not sensational this summer here in Harwich, but if I had to describe the way he plays, I'd just say he's a gamer. He's not going to give you perfection, but when you need him to make a play, for the most part, he's come up big for this Harwich team all summer. That's why he's still at the top of the order for Steve Englert.
First base runner, first hit since his home run is the single by Camarillo as a strike is fired to Kevin Keister. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a walk. Time called by Ergstrand. He wants the car lights turned off in right field. There are 2 cars right by the bandstand who have their lights turned on. Now one has turned them off. The other still on. Someone blocking it. I think we're good to go. So a weird delay.
Good reaction time.
Very good. Colin Tuft waving his hands in right, telling him to turn the lights off. Before the 0-1, a check over on Camarillo. Only 4 hits for Harwich and 4 hits for Orleans. Tonight. 1-1 the count. Camarillo's on the move. A hit in the hole to shortstop. Penny, long throw to first, takes Hallback off the bag, and the throw to third is not made. You put the ball in play and good things happen. Harwich with runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the 8th.
To be honest, that could have been disastrous. Jack Penny makes about a good throw you can make with his body pulled away from first, more towards third, throwing against his body. Good job for Matt Hallback to adjust, keep that in front of him, because if that ball gets away, it's a 2-0 game.
Watson stays in. He'll face the lefty, Ethan Anderson, who has not had a good night tonight. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Firebirds need to keep this a 1-run game. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. First pitch to Anderson, in for a strike at 89 with the fastball.
Anderson's been swinging all night long. You said it, swinging for the fences. But does he adjust his approach, even with an opportunity to provide the kill shot?
A check over on first, where Keister stands. On third, it's Camarillo, who has the only run tonight on the solo home run. Can the pitching win out again? That's what Watson needs. That's what the Firebirds need. The 0-1 to Anderson is high and outside, who's been a middle-of-the-bat guy for Virginia for 2 years. This summer has not gone his way so far, but that can all be erased right here. Watson's 1-1, high and outside. Good catch by Henry Hunter as Camarillo was dashing down the line.
This is an unbelievable player in Ethan Anderson. Sometimes you don't succeed with a wood bat or over a small sample size in summer. He hit 360 in NCAA tournament play. He can turn it on at any moment.
Runners on first and third. The 2-1 pop up deep left. Back goes Micheletti in foul territory, makes the catch. Matthew Watson gets out of first and third with 2 outs on a long fly ball in foul territory by Ethan Anderson. Can that help the Firebirds offense? Can they get going? They need to. Down 1 going to the bottom of the 8th.
At Del Mar Vacations, we believe that every moment spent on Cape Cod is a memory waiting to happen. Book a stay with us. And when you're here, why not enjoy the excitement of a Cape Cod Baseball League game? Del Mar Vacations proudly partners with the Cape Cod Baseball League, where you can watch the future stars of tomorrow play today. Whether you're seeking a family getaway or an adventure-filled escape, Del Mar Vacations has the perfect home for you. Book your dream vacation today and discover the beauty of Cape Cod. Del Mar Vacations and the Cape Cod Baseball League, your ticket to an extraordinary getaway.
The Firebirds in dire need of a run. They send up the middle of their order. Justin Rubin, Jack Penny, and Matt Hallback against Sean Hard, who was really good in the 7th inning. 2 more strikeouts with 3 on the night, allowing a single and a walk, but getting Joe Oyama to ground out with runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Matthew Watson did the same thing in the top of the 8th for the Firebirds.
You don't see pitching like this late in the season very often in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Whether it was the starters who came to play today and Blake Purcell or Grayson Carter, Blake Purnell, or the bullpen options, and Sean Hart and Matthew Watson.
First pitch to Justin Rubin is a strike. He didn't like that call. That pitch was at the top of the zone and maybe a little bit more. One strike to Rubin. And another strike to Rubin, 0-2. Down to our final 6 outs of the Firebirds here in Game 1. 0-2, curveball, strike 3, swinging. Rubin goes down, swinging by the K. Now the home plate umpire Ergstrand says that's enough from Justin Rubin. He clearly didn't like that first pitch. Call. Ergstrand's going to give them a warning. The Firebirds dugout, and especially Rubin. As he writes it in his book, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th, and Jack Penny the batter.
You cannot allow yourself to become frustrated in moments like these with things that are outside of your control. The strike zone is outside of your control. You have to understand it, adjust to it, and make do.
Jack Penny, the batter, takes outside with the changeup. And it seems like, and has been, Sean Hard's fastball has been his weapon and pretty much his only weapon here tonight.
With the weapon that's got 3 strikeouts in his last 4 batters faced and 5 overall. Sean Hard has put together a really good second summer with Harwich, and it's because he's got good stuff.
The 2-0 was fouled back by Penny. Jack Penny, a home run. Last time he was here at Eldredge 2 nights ago. A 2-run shot in that 9th inning. Keep the Firebirds right back into that one. Lost by 2, 14-12 to Chatham. Penny takes high with the ball. 3-1 to the lefty Penny, who is tied for the team lead in home runs this season with 5.
At the top 10 mark in the league. 2 of those home runs in the last 10 games.
3-1 is high. A 1-out walk. Jack Penny reaches here in the 8th. And up comes the go-ahead run in Matt Hallback against the righty Hard.
Yeah, after a quick, unproductive at-bat in the 6th from Penny, in which he fouled out to left field on the first pitch, he has his signature Jack Penny at-bat. And Steve Englert, or rather, pitching coach R.J. Thomas, makes his way to the mound for Harwich.
So Thomas is going to talk with Hard on the mound. Hard is at 46 pitches through 2 1/3, including 4 strikeouts in those 7 outs. Hallback the batter. He struck out to Hard back in the 6th. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st, fielder's choice in the 3rd, and then a strikeout in that 6th inning. Penny on first. And how can you ignite this offense that hasn't had much going for him through 7?
There's no cure-all against a pitcher like Sean Hard, who is throwing the fastball for strikes, dialing it up to 96 when he needs to, throwing it in the low 90s now. You got to pray that Matt Hallback can make something happen, right? He's been so good. You mentioned it earlier in the game, one of the most underrated players in this league. He's hitting .450 in his last 14 games. He's been quiet tonight without a hit. He's due.
1 out, 1 on against Hard. First pitch, fastball fouled back. Matt Hallback has shown his power at times. A 2-home-run game earlier in the season. A home run at Bourne that got him going. Loves to drive it in the gaps and let Penny run. The 0-1, a fastball in for a strike. 0-2. Hard has walked a few guys, Ian, and let a few on, but the next batter, he's right back on him with 2 strikes.
Yeah, the last walk he committed, Colin Tough, the last inning, what does he do? Grounds out Joe Oyama.
0-2 to Hallback. A ground ball right in front of the plate. Will it roll foul? It will. Probably a benefit for the Firebirds, as that most likely would have been an out. 0-2. Still the count. 1 out. Hallback will walk back to home plate. Eddie Micheletti leaves his bat. Keeps it there. Good balance. As Hallback will pick it up and head back into the right-handed batter's box.
Eddie Micheletti's going to win the Good Teammate Award of the night.
And we already had a few awards.
Yes.
We'll mention those in a little bit. 0-2, 1 out. Penny on first. Hard gets his sign. The pitch, a curveball that Hallback barely gets a piece of to stay alive.
Whether it was Sean Matson being named the Cape Cod Baseball League's reliever of the year, congratulations to the Harvard Crimson, or Derek Clark, no longer with the team, who won the league's 10th Player of the Year award. Big accolades. But that's not at the forefront right now.
Still 0-2. Fastball by Hard. Broken bat. Foul ball. What an odd bounce. Another broken bat.
Beware.
That ball almost came back fair.
Yeah. I don't know. Matt Hallback, he's always running as fast as he can out of the box. And he was there too.
So we had the bat placed down by Micheletti. That one broke. Now he's got a new bat. And the count's still 0-2 against the righty Hallback.
That's why we play these playoff games, right? Team makes some money and helps pay for those broken bats.
Upwards of 30 broken bats on the season for the Firebirds. That's a confirmed stat. Penny on first, 0-2, foul ball. Another good at-bat by the Firebirds. Penny with no stolen bases in the regular season for the Birds. But he has some speed on him.
I know Hart's come out of a bullpen this summer, but he's gone upwards of 90 pitches, both in college and here on the Cape.
At 50 right now, another 0-2 and another foul ball. Hallback just spoiling fastballs right now.
And you said it, right? That's been the pitch for Hard throughout this outing, throughout this summer. Hallback is close, working that pitch count up, continuing to stay alive, maybe until Hard throws something that isn't that fastball.
Do the 0-2 again. Another pitch between these two. It's in there for strike 3 on the outside corner. A slider from Hard. He gets the call for out number 2.
It's a tight call at the top of the zone. 50-50. Ultimately, no one's going to bat an eye if it's called a strike, but Hallback does not get the benefit of the doubt. There was the pitch. That wasn't the fastball. Hallback lays off it. He goes down looking.
Another strikeout for Harwich pitching. Micheletti, the batter, a curveball in for a strike, and Hard looks as confident as ever. 7 strikeouts for Harwich as a whole. 5 for Sean Hard and 2 2/3. 0-1 pop up in the infield. Camarillo behind second will make the catch for out number 3. Another runner left on for Orleans as we go to the 9th. 1-0 Harwich. We go to the 9th. Still only 1 run between these two squads. And it's in favor of Harwich. Matthew Watson on for another inning of work, his 3rd. He'll face Devin Obie, Brian Arendt, and Elijah Lambros. Watson's been really good. In the 7th inning, he went 1-2-3. 8th inning, had 2 runners on, but kept it scoreless. And now here in the 9th, looking to keep the game where it is. First pitch, a foul tip into the mitt and out of the mitt of Henry Hunter.
Watson has gone multiple innings 3 times this summer, but has yet to go 3 innings. Gets the vote of confidence here from Kelly Nicholson in the biggest game of the year.
Sean Matson was warming up earlier in the game, but right now he's not needed because the Firebirds haven't scored yet. The 0-1 is a foul ball down the third base line from Obie.
Obie's been quiet in these last 2 games against Orleans. A couple strikeouts tonight, but he had a great middle of July.
Watson quickly ahead, 0-2 on the righty out of Duke. Pitch is low, no chase. Obie's 0 for 3 tonight, like you said, 2 strikeouts. Watson, who hasn't recorded a strikeout yet, but has recorded 6 outs with only 2 runners allowed. 2 hits. 1-2, swing and a miss. There's the strikeout as he collects number 1 and out number 1 here in the 9th.
So impressive the way Matthew Watson pitches. He's not a strikeout guy. I mean, he pitched under 80 innings at Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the spring, was in the mid-50s with strikeouts. And even with him dealing right now, a rare mound visit from pitching coach Jim Lawler.
Jim Lawler heads out, probably his quickest trot out of the season, I'd say. He was really moving. A quick visit with Watson. And now we'll head back. What could have been said, Ian?
It's a great question. Did you punch in your ticket to work today?
That is a classic Lawler line.
I don't know. He's working quick.
The Firebirds pitching staff has punched their ticket into work today.
All the pitchers today have.
So nobody on, 1 out, and up comes Brian Arendt, who's 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a line out. On the ground to third, Stallman. Strong throw. Did Hallback stay on? He did for out number 2. Matthew Watson making it look easy. 2 1/3, just under 40 pitches. And up comes Elijah Lambros, who has 1 of 5 hits for Harwich today.
Such great pitching from the Firebirds tonight, whether it was the start of the year for Grayson Carter or what Watson's doing.
The first pitch to Lambros is a slider, and he swings and misses that. In the bottom of the 9th for Orleans, it'll be Eddie King Jr., Brandon Stallman, and Henry Hunter, along with a full bench for Orleans. They have not used anyone off their bench just yet. Matthew Watson takes a long time. Deep breath. 0-1, another slider, and another swing and miss.
Shift on for Orleans. 3 to the left side of second base, Joe Oyama against Lambros. Camarillo hit 1 against the shift. His last time up, last inning. Lambros trying to do the same here an inning later.
Watson 0-2 on Lambros after 2 straight sliders. Goes to a third. Did he go? He did. Matthew Watson, another scoreless inning. 3 on the night, including 2 strikeouts, both here in the 9th inning. Last call for the Firebirds. They're down 1 as we go bottom 9.
It's so dumb that Washington and Washington State are in different leagues. Oregon and Oregon State are in different leagues. I mean, it's some of the best games that we've Texas versus Oklahoma, whatever it is, Texas Tech, or whatever these games are that they have, Texas versus Texas A&M, different. I remember when that was Northeastern left BU and Vermont and Maine and Hampton, they went to play in Colonial, which is now the Coastal. It just made no sense. Yeah, you're arena, you're hospital. So yeah, Northeastern goes instead of now Northeastern having rivalries across the university and UNH and local New England schools. There can't possibly be a rivalry between Northeastern and Jamestown. Just because the thing.
Leading off for the Firebirds, the center fielder from Louisville.
The Firebirds offense through 8, not so much. They got one more chance to bring it back. They need one, or else Harwich will take game 1 here on Friday night on August 4th. First pitch to Eddie King is low. Did he go? He did not, as it gets through the legs of Brian Arendt. Sean Hard back out for another inning in relief. He came in the 6th. He's allowed 2 hits, 2 walks in 3 innings of work. The 1-0 is low. 2 straight breaking balls from Hard. Eddie King, who looks to get on. Orleans down 1 here in the 9th.
Eddie King has been one of the most clutch players on this Firebirds team this summer.
Hard working quickly. 2-0s outside. 3-0. No arms in the Harwich bullpen warming. It's Sean Hard's game. 3-0 outside, ball 4. And the Firebirds have some life. Eddie King on first with nobody out.
You know, a big reason why the Firebirds offense had scored 10 or more runs in 6 of the final 8 games of the regular season, they started to walk more. And when you walk a guy like Eddie King, who we said it last inning, we'll say it again, leads the team in stolen bases with 8. Good things happen. Another mound visit for R.J. Thomas, his second in as many innings to Sean Hard.
The pitching coach, Hard just dribbles and looks at the ball on the mound. Might be a pitching change. We'll see. Is the gate open? It's not as of now along the left field fence. Hitting coach Max Fiske, first base coach Jay Banfield, manager Kelly Nicholson, all meeting with the hitters up on first base and on deck. Owen Carpellotti, a pinch hitter, on deck for the Firebirds. Brandon Stallman, the hitter. Eddie King, the runner, on first base. Mound visit over. Back to play. Stallman, the left-handed hitter, has yet to find his power this summer. All singles. Still waiting for the big hit. He's got it in him. King, the speedster, on first, and 5 straight balls from Sean Hard to start off the 9th.
Steve Englert has to make a decision soon.
Does he let Hard ride, or does he pull the trigger? 0-1, he fires a strike, a fastball.
It was on Wednesday, right? The Firebirds trailed big, and they scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Came up short against Chatham, but once again showed their resiliency.
The 1-1 is inside. A slider.
This Firebirds team has climbed bigger mountains than this. It's a group that's been together really since the start of the summer. They've waited for moments like these.
Hard takes a breath. 2-1, inside again. And we mentioned it, Ergstrand's zone is very tight, but it's also very heightened, or top to bottom. It's a little bit taller than other zones.
That's like a rectangle.
That's right. 3-1, nobody out. A walk would put 2 on. The pitch, popped up, foul, left field line. Will anyone get there? No. So count is full to Stallman. Maybe King will go. Maybe a hit and run is in order. Ball 4 and 2 would be on with nobody out. Against Sean Hard, who's approaching 65 pitches. The full count pitch to Brandon Stallman is fouled. Another battle by these Firebirds hitters.
It's a good hack from Stallman at a pitch above the zone. Some more of a Matt Hallback at bat 2 innings ago, but that one did end in a strikeout.
Do the full count pitch again. Hard, fires a fastball, popped up in the left. Over goes Leary near the line. He dives, he can't make the play. We stay at 3-2. The Firebirds have battled all night long at the plate. They haven't gotten the big hit yet.
Both these teams really good in one-run games, right? Harwich with 8 one-run victories this year. It's tied for second in the league, only with who? Orleans.
Do the full count pitch again. A fastball that's fouled away again. Stallman having one of the better at-bats this season by a Firebird hitter in the big spot. On deck, the pinch hitter, Owen Carpellotti. King with a 2.5-step lead off first base, held on by Anderson. The fourth, 3-2 pitch, pop to left, shallow, in comes Leary. He dives, and he can't make the play. King to second, Stallman at first, 2 on with nobody out for Orleans.
Goes down as a hit. And what a big one for Brandon Stallman.
The umpires are talking as they go along the third base line. I'm not sure what about.
Garcia, just a quick word with Engstrand.
Pinch hitter for the Firebirds, Owen Carpellotti. 2 on, nobody out. Ian, how would you approach this if you're Kelly Nicholson? Would you have Carp bunt?
That's not what you brought him in to do, but also the situation has changed with 2 runners on and nobody out. This is a selfless Firebirds team. Carpellotti is bought in to Vamatra. Why not?
Nobody out, 2 on. Birds need 1. Carp squares around a bunt. He doesn't get it down. It's foul. The Firebirds, since day one, since June 3rd, when they came together as a team, have been bunting and bunting in practice right before BP every single day. Every guy does it, no matter if you're the cleanup hitter or a guy off the bench. It's helped them a lot this season. 0-1, Carpellotti squares the bunt once more. Hard, fires a fastball. Carp gets it down to the left side. Anderson picks it up. He has no play. Anderson was looking to third. King was already there. The Birds have bases loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th.
You know, Carpellotti told us before the summer he wanted to provide the fireworks. That's not a home run, but it gets the same reaction from the crowd. Not only does a job, but reaches and sets up a massive at-bat for Colin Tuft.
Bases loaded, nobody out. That'll be the end of the day for Sean Hard, and bunting pays off for the Firebirds again. Colin Tuft is the hitter. When we come back after the pitching change, don't go anywhere.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your CAT compact equipment. And this is the support from your local CAT dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
Bottom 9, the Birds got a rally in them. Every base is occupied. A walk by Eddie King, a single by Brandon Solomon, and a bunt single by Owen Carpellotti. Bases juice, nobody out. Down 1 here in Game 1 of the East Division semifinals, and a new pitcher in for Harwich. And who is he?
Really good one. Cole Rowland, the rising grad student from Wake Forest. A 2.07 ERA on the summer. His second here on the Cape. Spent some time with the Commodores last year. He's so good. He's got so much good stuff. Third most strikeouts with Wake Forest in the spring. A 14-1 strikeout to ratio here on the Cape in just under 9 innings pitched. Faced Orleans all the way back on July 7th and pitched a scoreless frame with 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning.
He's going to need 3 to get out of this inning. Infield is in for Harwich. Colin Tuft, the batter. Tuft with a hit, a walk, and a strikeout today. First batter against Rowland, who pitched to a 2 ERA in the regular season. The Duxbury, Mass native first pitch to Tuft, outside with the curveball. The Firebirds have had 4 walk-offs this regular season. Most recent one was against these Harwich Mariners. The third base umpire, Mickey Garcia, has called a delay to the game. He's pointing at something in the Harwich dugout. I'm not sure what it could be. We don't have that angle. And we're back to baseball. Harwich shifts their center fielder, Obi, over to the right side of second base against the righty Tuft. Third, King. Second, Stallman with a big lead, and Carpellotti at first. Rowland comes set. The 1-0 curveball in for a strike. And it's like a 12-6 roller coaster.
Which works with this Engstrand strike zone, right? You said it was a little taller up and down. If that pitch drops down to Colin Tuft, it could still get the call.
1-1. Nobody out. Birds need a ball in play. The pitch just high. Another curveball. 3 straight from Rowland. He taps the back of the mound with his right hand. Most likely trying to get the sweat off of his hand. Picks up the ball and comes back and comes set. A lot of movement on the mound for Rowland. 2-1 the count against Tuft. The pitch, did he go? He did. The home plate umpire, Eldredge, said that Tuft swung the bat. He didn't even check to first base. Eldredge said that Tuft went around enough that he saw it. Did not decide to go to the first base umpire, which is Jeff Kinney. Count 2-2. The clap from Eldredge has started. The pitch, Tuft went around. A strikeout. Rowland gets out number 1.
Again, cannot let what's happening behind the plate affect you. We've seen it multiple times in this game, whether it was Rubin, Hallback, now Tuft.
Infield still in. Now the shortstop and the second baseman, Camarillo and Rivera, move back to double play depth. And all the Firebirds need is a ball in play here.
He hits a lot of balls towards second base when he grounds out. That would honestly do the trick here.
Any ball up the middle. King on third. A lot of speed. 1 out. Oyama against Rowland. First pitch, curveball, in for a strike on the outside corner. It's been all curveballs so far from Rowland.
It was all fastballs from Hard. Completely different look from the Demon Deacons star reliever.
Pitch that caught the outside corner. Oyama, the greatest story for Orleans this season, takes high, 1-1.
It's a story that hopefully has a few more chapters left to write. But if Orleans wants to continue writing that great Joe Oyama story, it needs to win Game 1.
Dugout, everyone on the guardrail. Bullpen, same thing in right field. 1-1 the count between Rowland and Oyama. The pitch, in there for a strike. Cole Rowland got the strikeout for 1 out. Looking for the second strikeout. Looking for the second out. The Firebirds need a ball in play, and King can take off from third with a lot of speed. In game one of the playoffs, a tight contest. 1-2 pitch. Oyama fouls it away. It's another curveball from Roland at 80 miles per hour. Roland touches the rosin behind the mound. Now he'll step on the rubber. Still 1-2 against Oyama. A sac fly would do the job here. Any ball in play, most likely. 1-2 from Roland. Swing and a miss. From bases loaded, nobody out, to 2 straight strikeouts, and it's up to Justin Rubin.
Steve Engler's thrown his 3 best options, whether it was Purnell, Hard, and the guy from Wake Forest with his 72 to 12 strikeout to walk ratio for one of the best teams in the country. But if he gets out of this jam, what a hero he would become.
Take away the sac fly, take away the ball in play. Justin Rubin needs to reach. Maybe even a wild pitch. First pitch to Rubin is in there for a strike. Last time up, he struck out on the first pitch that he didn't think was in the zone. A curveball got him swinging. It would be heartbreak from Eldredge if the Firebirds couldn't push a run across. The 0-1 pitch from Roland is low. What a block. Brian Arendt, incredible. Keeps the ball in front of him and keeps Eddie King at third base. That's a game-changing play.
Brian Arendt made a bad error a few innings ago, but allowed Eddie King to take third. But his team bailed him out, and King stayed at third. There he returns the favor on a wild pitch from a pitcher that when he's on, and when he's off, he might be a little wild. Big block from the All-Star, who offensively has had Orleans' number all year, but defensively makes the play of the year.
As of now, 1-1 after another curveball from Roland against Justin Rubin. With the bases loaded. The pitch on the ground in no man's land, charging his Camarillo. He bobbles it. Tie game. A ball in play. 1-1 here in the ninth. Justin Rubin comes up clutch. We are tied.
Goes down as an RBI single for Rubin. Not an easy play to make if you're Camarillo, but you got to feel for the guy. Dropped the ball at second on Monday that eventually won Orleans the game. Could have got a game-ending force out. Can't make that play there.
Bases still loaded. 2 outs, tie game. On third is Brandon Stallman. Jack Penny, the batter, against Cole Rowland. First pitch, curveball for a strike. And 2 strikeouts. Rubin puts the ball in play. Not very hard, but he does the job.
You know, he hasn't hit the ball hard all summer. He hasn't needed to.
He faces the lefty. Penny, Rowland does. 0-1, bases loaded, curveball low, doesn't get enough away from Arendt. Another key block from the catcher out of UNCW.
Rowland's pitched really well. Arndt's been really good behind the dish. Orleans was just given a gift. I know putting the ball in play works, but you catch a break, now you got to cash in.
1-1, the winning run 90 feet away with Stallman. Rowland, the pitch is low, another block from Arendt. Teaching a lesson in blocking pitches behind the plate right now.
Well, Cole Rowland pitches with his emotions out there. You got to wonder how much is he in control right now, throwing pitch after pitch in the dirt.
And Brian Arendt saving him, 2-1. Now a timeout called by the home plate umpire, Chris Ergstrand. He'll get back behind the plate. Tie game here in game 1. Bases loaded. The 2-1 pitch from Roland is outside. The Firebirds are 1 ball away from walking this game off. Jake Casey in the dugout, pumping up the crowd. And Cole Roland has to throw a strike. The Firebirds have won on a walk-off walk already this season against Katuitt. Here in game 1 against Harwich. The 3-1 pitch in there for a strike. Another curveball.
That was definitely a strike. Good pitch.
Full count, bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Jack Penny. Can he be the hero? Roland comes set. The runners will be off. Stallman from third. The pitch, line drive into right field. A walk-off. Jack Penny. Birds win game 1. From 1-0 down into the 9th to winning it 2-1. Birds take game 1 over Harwich.
Just look at it. This is a team that wanted it more at the end. I know that might be kind of a blunt thing to say. It may be a little untrue, but you know, Jack Penny wanted to hit that baseball. These guys wanted to win this game. And at the end of the day, you think Jack Penny just won the College World Series with Notre Dame. In reality, he just wins a summer ball game. But this is not just a team. Just a summer experience. One more look. Mr. Clutch. That's his nickname. It's been his name all summer long, and now he earns it. 2-1 on Monday night against Harwich, and a walk-off from Jake Casey. 2-1 5 nights later.
The line drive, the first hit off Cole Roland. And it's the winner for a team that had 4 walk-offs in the regular season and now 1 here in the playoffs. Jack Penny, the hero, as he gets mobbed. Ian, we're going to recap this game. We're going to stay on. We're hopefully going to get Jack Penny as the interview, or honestly, so many players that could come up big. I think a play that it was so big in that 9th inning, Justin Rubin.
I mean, of course. It brought in the tying run. And Orleans maybe catches a break, right? It goes down as an infield single, and Rubin gets the RBI there, but Ali Camarillo, who made an error earlier in the game, couldn't make a big-time play on Monday night. He's a good defensive shortstop, but he couldn't catch a break with a nearly impossible play to make. Roland was thrown in a tough situation, and he came out firing with that curveball early on. Ultimately, Harwich can't get it done. Sometimes you got to win it dirty. Tonight, Orleans did that, and it was powered by an excellent start from Grayson Carter. I know Sammy's interviewing Jack right now, and you'll see that on our social media later tonight or early tomorrow, but Orleans wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for the work of the guy who joins me right here behind home plate, Grayson Carter, to start. We'll send it down behind home plate here. Grayson, I know you didn't close that game out, but you certainly started it, and your team came through. How?
You know, we just stuck with it. I did my job of pitching on the mound the best I could, and you know, with a one-run game, it's hard. But hats off to the hitters and getting good ABs in the bottom of the 9th. And you know, Penny came in, and everyone in the team contributed to that 9th inning. So just kept battling to the end, and that's what this playoff is all about.
Your heart's racing right now. Yeah. It's summer ball, but you guys are acting like you've won such a big game, and you have. Why does this group care so much about this team?
I mean, postseason is always the hardest with playoffs. You know, it's towards the end of the summer. Everyone's tired. We've been out here for a little while, and you know, just to be able to have a group of guys that care so much like we do, it's awesome. And that dugout at the bottom of the 9th and energy going towards all the hitters, it was a pretty awesome experience. And you know, this is what we got to keep going.
You know, for you, your role has changed throughout this summer from bullpen as starter. You know, technically, your first postseason start since what, high school? And how do you think it went for you tonight with 8 strikeouts in 6 innings?
Yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I just tried to do my job out there. I tried to do the best I could, get my fastball there and my off-speed pitches, and do my best to get the hitters out. And I do my job on the mound, and the hitters do their job at the plate. I try, and hats off to the hitters to getting that last hit. That's a tough situation, and they just pulled through.
Jack Penny's come up in so many big situations throughout this year. He's been routinely praised by this group. I'll give you the shot to maybe shout him out. What about Jack Penny separates him and makes him one of the best here in the Cape?
Not just his hitting, but his defense is phenomenal. I mean, I get a lot of tough chopper balls off the mound, and just to know that I have someone behind me being able to make those plays is awesome. So good defense, but I mean, all season he's been a good bat to have, and I had no doubt that he was about to hit that ball. So, just to be able to have that faith and gain that faith is awesome.
How important is it in a game like this, in a league like this, where there's so much parity and every team is so good, to win Game 1 of a playoff series?
It's awesome. I mean, it definitely gives a jump start to our team, and just be able to experience this environment. I mean, that was a championship game. That was a playoff game. So to be able to understand that environment, understand the pressure, and just our hitters to be able to understand what they have to do to get that last run. I mean, that was a championship game, and I just got to keep moving forward and getting to the end.
Getting to the end, and I guess this is the end of this interview because you killed it. You killed it on the mound. Your team killed it in the end, and congratulations, Grayson, on Game 1. Best of luck the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Grayson Carter joining us here on Cooling Down. We'll head back to the field here to see the sights and sounds of a fantastic game, but ultimately 2-1. Grayson Carter gets it started with 6 innings on the bump, 8 strikeouts from him. Dylan, it feels so good because his unbelievable start doesn't go down as nothing. It goes down as the start that kept this team in it and eventually led to an unbelievable win.
You're right, Ian. I mean, he made one mistake, like we mentioned, the Ali Camarillo solo home run as we bring you back into the broadcast booth. A solo home run by Ali Camarillo in that 6th inning, and a lot of air was taken out of this place because the Firebirds, who have been taking the lead early in a lot of games, did not have the lead, and the offense really was sputtering at times. Ali Camarillo hits that solo shot. The Birds threatening a lot of the innings. However, in the 9th inning, they get bases loaded, but then they make 2 outs, the 2 strikeouts, and things looked a little bleak. Justin Rubin comes up big. All it takes is a ball in play.
For somebody in Justin Rubin who has been in and out of a lineup because he's been a little dinged up, but to come in that big spot and to come up as big as he did, we said it all year. I mean, this is an offense that has had its up and downs, but when the big players need to make a big play, they do. And tonight it was the guys hitting 2 and 3. Jack Penny being at third, and Jack Penny, even after a slow start to the summer, has been tremendous.
I think another unsung hero that we have to talk about, we talked about Rubin, we talked about Carter, we talked about Penny, Matthew Watson. 3 shutout innings out of the bullpen. He hasn't gone 3 innings all summer. He did tonight. He did with success. And now we talked about it saving the bullpen. Everyone in that bullpen except Watson tomorrow will probably be available. Talking about the Firebirds win. They play tomorrow, and they look to close it out tomorrow in Harwich, 5:30 at White House Field.
So the big key in that game, obviously, is to take the lead early, right? Because, number 1, Harwich has not been good this season when having to come from behind. And number 2, Sean Madsen, right? I heard Kelly Nicholson calling for Madsen to get warm, and I'm sure he did get warm, but they didn't end up needing him tonight. That's big because now your reliever of the year with the perfect ERA has the opportunity to go out there tomorrow and potentially close out a playoff series for you, advance in the playoffs for the first time in 6 years. This team wants it. Again, I said it right after the final call. They want it more. They want it more than I think any other team in the league, and that's going to ultimately help them here in this playoff run.
Well, it showed right there in the 9th inning. I mean, you go back, Eddie King gets on base. Brandon Stallman's hit was so big. That at-bat, I mean, you look back at it, 9, 10 pitches, continuously fighting on full counts. He dinks it into left field. It drops barely in front of the left fielder, Leary. And then another good at-bat by Carpellani, the bunt single right in front of the mound that Anderson couldn't make the play on. And then the 2 strikeouts. But the Firebirds, I think that's so important. We talked about resiliency. They don't let the at-bat before them dictate their at-bat if they're the on-deck hitter.
They do, right? It's just every guy going up there doing a job and not letting a strike zone, not letting a bad call, not letting the situation in the game impact what they do. You're totally right. I think something that Grayson mentioned to me before he got out of there and celebrated with the team is the fact that this is a championship environment. It's Game 1 of the playoffs. And I know this is what you need in order to win a championship, but what do we see around the league today? We saw both the 1 seeds lose and lose bad. right? After great regular seasons, Katuitt got destroyed by Bourne. Brewster handed it to Yarmouth Dennis. And tonight, Orleans was not going to get upset by Harwich, even though it looked like it for, 8 2/3 innings. Orleans had enough juice towards the end of the game to get the win. So you needed that game because whoever was going to lose this game was going to lose a heartbreaker. And now Harwich, who thought they were going to get this win right to the very end, has the rug pulled from under them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Harwich responds emotionally tomorrow.
It will be, because they just took a shot to the heart right there, right? And now they face tomorrow. They're back at home. Harwich is back at home at White House Field, a gorgeous field, to be unbiased. But 5:30 the start time. It's not 6. It's 5:30 first pitch. We'll be right back here on the Birds Broadcast Network. A radio broadcast tomorrow before a potential Game 3, maybe on Sunday if Harwich wins. But, Ian, before we head out, before we even read the ads, we got to talk about the starting pitcher for tomorrow, Ivan Romero, how he has had a lot of success recently.
He has. I mean, his last start was probably his best, similar to Grayson Carter peaking at the right time this summer. Ivan Romero has experience pitching in the playoffs. Last summer, he wasn't even on Orleans. He was playing with Yarmouth Dennis, and he started in the playoff series, Red Sox and Firebirds, that ended the season for Orleans. He got the win in the game that ended Orleans' summer last year in the postseason. So with Ivan Romero, he's going to give you 3 pitches. He's not going to throw 99 to 100, but he's got a fastball that plays up in the zone and has a lot of life to it. It's going to clock in the low 90s, and he's got a slider and a changeup too that was working really well in that game against Hyannis late last week, shutting down one of the best offenses in the league in the Harbor Hawks. So you've got an experienced arm on the mound tomorrow, and Ivan Romero, usually a bullpen guy who started for Orleans this summer, started for YD last summer, from the University of San Diego. And what did he do in the middle of July against Harwich, right? This team nearly had a no-hitter against the Mariners, and he pitched the first 4 innings of that game, and it looked really good. So for Ivan, he's going to hope to get a lot of weak contact tomorrow, a ground ball pitcher, and Harwich offense that's been reeling over the last week or two is going to try to put up more of a one-run against a pitcher who's feeling it right now.
So Romero, the starting pitcher for the Firebirds. We're not sure of the starting pitcher for the Mariners, but we'll sign off 2-1. Orleans wins it. Ian, let's pay the bills before we head out. We got to get to bed before another game tomorrow.
Yes, the 5:30 start time, an hour earlier, so maybe we should go to bed a little early tonight. Post-game sponsor is Siemens Bank. No, I'm just joking. I just wanted to give Siemens Bank some love because we didn't give them a shout-out earlier in the game. Our pregame sponsor, Siemens Bank. Our post-game sponsor, Mazzio Construction LLC, who's worked hard to build a resume for itself, let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation. They handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all your needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work. Let's see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction, the official post-game sponsor of Cooling Down, right here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
We'll wrap it up. A 2-1 walk-off win for the Firebirds. Jack Penny gets the walk-off single, and the Birds win 2-1. Game 2 tomorrow at Harwich. 5:30 start right here on the Orleans Firebirds YouTube channel on the Birds Broadcast Network. We'll see you there for the Birds looking to sweep.